You've been you went live the other day with the StreamYard, right?
Yep,
For a little bit. Yeah.
we are live right now, Pedro. Let's see. Make sure anyone can hear me. Make sure everything is actually working well. I see William Anderson is in the building as usual. He's in a drive-through. He's bored, so
Williams also, man.
we on for him. Those drive-through orders, man. You guys are troopers. I do not do drive-through orders anymore. It's
You don't
too
like the
good.
fast food, right, Hannibal?
Oh no, 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 no. And we'll talk about a little bit of that based on the tipping video. But let's start it. Welcome to the Hannibal is Hungry YouTube channel. We're here with Pedro DoorDash Santiago, my good friend and fellow YouTuber, extraordinary YouTuber, father. That's probably the most important title. And we're gonna talk about some DoorDash. Obviously, that's your bread and butter, right? Like you say, you do a little Uber
Yeah.
on the side, as you say. But
Yeah.
DoorDash is where I think most of our bread and butter is. Like it's the biggest
Yeah.
app out right now.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna jump it right into it. So Pedro, if you're talking to a friend, you haven't seen him in a while, and he says, "Hey Pedro, how was the summer with DoorDash?" What would be your answer?
Ooh, good one. It's been a roller coaster. I think there's been highs and lows. That's how I would classify the summer with DoorDash. It's been a real bumpy roller coaster.
Yeah,
And you can have some highs because you can make some good money on some days, right?
right.
And take care of what you need to take care of. But man, the lows sometimes feel really low. So
Yeah.
that's how I would classify the summer. It's been a roller coaster ride, man.
You know, both of us, I think we didn't start the delivery apps in terms of like a serious way in basically last year, right? Like
Yeah.
I started in June and July of last year. I think you started maybe a little earlier than that.
Yeah, I started January 2020, very, very part-time
Yeah,
is when I started. And I started Uber Rideshare was my first one.
right. So the OGs, right? The guys, UDMs in the world and those guys who've been doing it for years, they're like, hey, man, hey, it's a summer slowdown. You're just gonna have to buckle down. You're gonna have to, kind of ride with it. But at the same time, this is a very unusual year. This is a very unusual time. So, do you feel that the summer slowdown is something that is just a regular thing, or this particular summer with the stuff that's going on with the pandemic and the reopening and then maybe reclosing, with a lot of uncertainty. Do you think it's a different kind of summer that can be compared to other summers, despite the fact that we're still new in the game, so to speak?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think in taking notes and hear advice from the people that have been doing this for 3+ years, the summer slowdown obviously is something that is normal, but I do think it's different now in a sense like pandemic, masks,
Mm,
base pay being lowered where that wasn't really the case maybe 3 years ago. Base pay was higher. So all these different things that have been added, new merchants on a lot of these platforms. So now we have to get used to different merchants and different procedures. So I would say this one's definitely maybe offers different challenges. And that's why it feels maybe in some ways worse or different than before for even people that have been doing it because there's more obstacles. There's more things to do now that we didn't have to worry about. Maybe UDM 3 years ago didn't have to worry about some of these things. And now new people like us kind of have to. So we're looking at it like, wow, this isn't great, right? Whereas somebody that's been doing this for
yeah.
a while, they feel like, well, it's always kind of slow. But I definitely think I would challenge people to say that this summer's been um, summer slowdown plus additional just things we had never had to think about before. So in that way, it makes
Yeah.
it harder, I think.
Gotcha. What would be you always say everything's a lesson. Every situation you learn something from it. What have you learned about DoorDash or yourself or gig work in general? What have you learned about yourself in the summer slowdown, or just the summer in general? Like what you have learned about some of the things that you had to either deal with, or what lessons that you could take
Mm.
with you beyond this summer.
You know, I've learned to be patient. I've
Mm,
learned that you have to understand, we're talking about roller coaster, right? You can't stay in the emotions of being too high and being too good and, oh, I'm going to make $200 every day. because that won't necessarily, it's not attainable all the time. And you
Yeah.
also can't stay in the lows too much, right?
Yeah.
And know that, oh, it's really crappy and be negative. You know, you got to be patient and understand that the law of averages will work itself out, but you got to be patient and realize, and you got to hit pause and say, okay, let me reflect a little bit. What am I really doing? Okay, I'm delivering food, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor, a nurse, a firefighter, a police officer.
Yes.
I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
not somebody I'm delivering food. And that's important because
It's
we do it for a
essential.
living.
It's an essential
Yeah, it
job,
is
you know?
because we do it for a living and we
Yeah.
provide for our families. But you got
Yeah.
to sometimes hit pause and like be patient and step back and like reflect a little bit. That's what I've learned, because when I started doing it last year, it was just money, 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 real quick money. I had my career job.
Yeah.
But as you make it your full-time thing, you have to be patient a little bit.
Yeah.
And that extra 30 seconds to like think about stuff really helps you out in the long run, I think, over the course of a day, over the course of a week. So
Right, right. So the theme that I've noticed in the last couple of days have been positive thinking or the positive mindset, or sometimes, I guess some people maybe thought being too positive is a bad thing. There's a lot of
mm-hmm,
that going on. So
mm-hmm.
I just wanted to ask you a question in terms of what is more powerful of a force, if that makes sense, the market or someone's will to make money, to make that money? Like,
Ooh,
what is the more powerful force that some people may sit back and, and really be honest with themselves? Because I think self-awareness is very important, that if you're putting that much effort as you possibly can, but the market isn't there. So I was just wondering what your perspective is. What do you think is more important, your will to make
yeah,
the money or just the market in general?
that's a good question, man. Market is very important, right?
Mm,
So it's hard, I can say, realistically in my St. Louis market, I can make $200 every day,
mm,
but sometimes it's going to take me 8 hours. Maybe it takes me 16, but I could make $200, right?
yeah.
So for me, will is super important. Okay. If you really need to make money, I believe in my heart, most markets, not all of them, I
Right.
believe most of them you can make what you need to make if you have the time. Now,
Hmm.
some people might be single mothers, single fathers, you're doing it part time, and you
Right.
don't
Right.
have those hours necessarily. But speaking from my experience, if I needed to make $200 a day or I couldn't pay my mortgage, I'm going to have the will to do that.
Yeah.
So I think that markets can be very different, but if you really need to make it, and I don't suggest people just doing DoorDash to make a full-time living,
Right.
okay? But if you had to, I believe the money can be made. So if it's that important and you're about to get evicted, and I believe the money can be there. Now, what
Yeah.
that means also is it doesn't mean, some people are like, I don't have all these orders, they're not good, I can't make money, but there are orders out there. So if that means adapting a little, and last year you didn't take a $6 order, this year you might need to take a $6 order
Yeah.
to make money, as long as the miles are okay. So that's kind of, the money is there. I believe that. In most markets, I believe you can make what you need to make. I do.
UDM had his live stream. Was it yesterday? Yeah, I think it was yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday morning. Yeah.
Brilliant. I loved everything he was saying, and he was saying that idea that maybe we're too spoiled from last year, where we're not willing to take an offer that I guess last year we wouldn't take. Like I think he said he did like $100 order going, I forgot, really far. I forgot.
$120, 120 for 90 something miles.
That is, I mean, I can't compute that considering everything is so close in Brooklyn. So it's like doing that,
Sure.
like what state am I in? But
Sure.
in
Sure.
Florida, everything's a little further out. But do you think that there's many dashers that are just too spoiled and then just not seeing that idea of I got to hustle more? It was easy before, but it may never be that way again because
Yeah.
DoorDash made billions of dollars 2020. You think many of us are too spoiled?
I think some are. I think that's people in general, whether
Yeah.
it's DoorDash or any kind of work. Coming from the service industry and the servers that I had 10 years ago at the restaurant, servers had it easier than they have it now.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a server at that same restaurant, you have to take to-go orders, watch the DoorDash tablet. You got to wear a mask. Maybe you don't have a busser anymore. You got to bus your own tables. So companies have transitioned us to do more work for less money. That's what they're doing, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
that's the history of big companies. So I think there's some people that are spoiled, but I would say this. I would challenge the people watching, and so he made $120 for 90 something miles. So let's just say that took him 3 hours.
mm.
Isn't that a good offer?
Yeah,
3 hours to make $120.
yeah,
Now
yeah,
the money to mile ratio is not great, but if he's got a point, like even if it took him 4 hours, there are people that don't make $120 all day.
yeah.
So if
He had a plan too. He
had
has
a
a
plan.
goal. There's a system. He's like, yes, I'm taking this hit, if they call it a hit, but he said I'll make that back in the next day or so. So
Absolutely. So is
yeah,
it better for him to take that or just not take it? Only drive 20 miles, make $60, or is
yeah,
it better to make another extra 60, drive a little more miles, but he'll make it up on the back end? So, I think he made a really good point. You know, some people look at it, how much can I make per hour? It's about mileage and true profitability for gas and things. But sometimes if you gotta pay the bills and you need that 120, go get the 120
yeah.
and figure out how to cut your miles down on the back end.
Let me ask you another question about, I guess, the idea you got to pay your bills, right? You got to do what you got to do to take care of your family. So, let's talk about, not to say gig tubers, but all of us gig workers in general. Is it more important, or I guess I like to say, the idea that we want change, right? We would like DoorDash to give us the full payouts. We would like
Yeah.
DoorDash to make the base pay higher.
Roy's in the chat too, so we could talk.
Oh
Roy's
yeah,
in here.
Roy. What's up, Roy?
What up, Roy? What up, Roy?
Yeah, I know he's in here. I gotta talk to him too, one of these days. But in terms of, I guess I think he may have thoughts on this too.
Yeah.
Are we spending too much time on trying to change things? Are we too busy trying to figure out how to, I guess, activism, right? Or should we focus more about making the money? Are we too into this is wrong and we got to change it, rather than let's just make this money, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but our focus is in the wrong place? What do you think?
That's good, man. I think you got to have people that are willing to like push the envelope a little, ask questions, peek behind the door, like and rattle the cage a little bit, right? We got to have that. But at the end of the day, we do, as gig tubers or DoorDash people, if you don't have a channel or whatever, you got to do what you got to do. You got to make money and come up with solutions, be willing to adapt, right? Be willing to not expect things to be just perfect for us, and understand that all jobs have issues. We've all had jobs. I don't know anybody that thinks every job's perfect or work somewhere was perfect. Like, you're going to have issues and you're going to have things not go your way, right? So you got to be willing to adapt and figure it out. I think sometimes we do tend to focus as people on the negative, and we talk about negative. That's what people, they like the drama. They want to know about that kind of stuff. The good stuff doesn't get views, isn't on the news, right?
Yeah.
If it bleeds, it leads. Like, as the society, we're built like that. But I do think there is a place that if something doesn't seem right, you got to say it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, is DoorDash going to really do anything? Probably not.
Yeah.
But, with bigger things in history, if somebody didn't say something, maybe something wouldn't have changed. So, it depends on how you look at it. But like, I think it is okay to ask for full transparency. I think it is okay to ask DoorDash not to pause our dash for 5 minutes. That's ridiculous. We shouldn't be penalized and put in the corner in timeout because we're independent contractors. That's ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
We got to pick our battles, but at the same time, like, if enough of us say something, I think they got to do something. That's my hope, at least, but who knows if that's reality.
Yeah, I hear you. It's interesting. Mushimu, I think that's his name.
Pavel, yeah, Pavel East, yeah.
But he talked about Uber Eats. I actually tried to turn on Uber Eats just to get an order, and I had the app on for 2 hours. I didn't get an order. I'm in Brooklyn, so like it's dead. Everything is just really dead. But the idea that Uber Eats is changing their timers to like 5 seconds or 10 seconds. He was saying, and I agree. Well, I guess you can't drive while waiting for an order, because there's no way you can't look at it or analyze that and drive at the same time. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, you're not supposed to at all, but it looks like, these companies, they're trying to push and get these people to take orders without thinking, without
Yeah.
even no think, just do it. Just
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
And, I don't know if that's a good idea. I guess, like you say, we're trying to get this balance and trying to find a compromise, but where can be how that balance can get achieved. And I don't know if that's possible due to the fact that there's so many of us doing it. Like, is it for true change to happen? Does it mean, or should we have less dashes on the roads? Do we have to some people are going to have to quit and do some other stuff where we can get back to leverage? Do you think that's a possibility, or do you think that's the only way that change is going to happen?
Yeah, and I think when we talk about change, we get stuck in our YouTube world, right? We think that maybe all the YouTube people and all the subscribers and in the chat and in the videos and the comments, those are the only people to dash. That's probably 5%.
Yeah,
maybe less than that of the actual dashers. So I think a lot of the things we talk about isn't even known in the dash community for some parts, right?
Yeah.
And I know we have Facebook and Reddit and things like that and other means of communication, but I think most people that dash aren't watching what we're even talking about, right? And DoorDash does it too. Like it's unsafe. Uber, you only get 5 seconds, and I've experienced that today a little bit. And DoorDash, they give you an order right before you're going to drop one off, and like the in-app navigation goes away, and you have to decide to take it or not. And you're driving, and I think there's a lot of dashers, but obviously there's more orders than dashers. So the algorithm is trying to figure out, how do we make all the revenue for DoorDash and Uber? How do we make sure all these orders get delivered so that we get the money, right? And the merchants want the same thing. So at the end of the month, the P&L looks good. And they're going to flood us with all these offers and try to confuse us. And I think a lot of new people don't know acceptance rate doesn't matter, so they're going to take it. I think a lot of dashers, English is their second language. I've talked about this a few times. And there's a language barrier there.
Yeah.
And they don't understand what really an independent contractor is. I think that's a decent percentage.
And those people, like I said, South America, and Asian, they bust their ass. I mean, I'm in New York City, so I'm around. They work hard.
Yes.
And I don't know, I may just do a video, but I don't want to film anybody because it's privacy. Just ask some of these guys, like, hey, are you top dashers? Are you premier drivers or whatever? I don't know, that's the thing for Grubhub where you can but like, I wonder if a lot of them are like, because they think I could work all day and make the $200, but they made that $200 working probably more hours than they should.
Yes.
But they're like, hey, listen, this is more money that I've seen in my life. I could take care of my family.
Absolutely.
It feels like the companies are exploiting that, but
I think they are.
Yeah. So
think about, so you're in Brooklyn. I want you. I lived in Chicago for a while, right? Big cities, right?
Yeah.
Think about the people driving cabs in your city.
Yeah.
Where are they from?
Thing. All over the place.
All over the place.
And the hardest working people. They keep their heads down. They don't get respected sometimes. There's sometimes a language issue. Sometimes when they go and look for an order, the cashier may say it's not ready yet, but they didn't understand it, and then the cashier gets kind of like an attitude.
Yes.
But a lot of it, they just don't understand, and they're trying to be cordial too, but it's always a bit of a I guess what you call it, not lost in translation, but it's a disconnect there sometimes.
And Uber and Lyft took a lot of those taxi guys and gals out of their jobs, right? At least in my St. Louis market, a lot of those people had to do other work, and they went to gig delivery. Yeah. And right, and it's we have a lot of people out here that are working, busting their tails, and maybe if I need to make $200, that person might only need to make 60. So they're taking $2 and $3 and $4 orders, and they're fine with it, and that's okay. You, as an independent contractor, I can't tell another independent contractor on how to make their hustle, but that's part of the issue too, is that they're devaluing themselves a little bit as far as what they can really make, and enabling the customers not to tip, and also showing DoorDash these orders eventually will probably get filled. Yeah. But oh man, sorry, that's loud.
That's cool.
But yeah, I think it's I'm always gonna be. I've worked for big companies, man, but I'm to the point now. I'm like I'm tired of repping the big ones, and I got DoorDash in my middle name on YouTube, and it's a big company, but it's for a means to an end. And
Yeah.
I'm going to champion the little guy, man. And I think we need a voice and we need to be heard. And we got to pick our battles, though. And I think sometimes we can't complain about everything because then nothing will ever change. I think we got to pick one or two things and try to figure those one or two things out.
I don't know if you saw DoorDash Dad's poll where I think he asked like, what's the one thing right now you would want, right, from DoorDash? And I think it was like a full payout or a higher base wage. I forgot the other option.
Yeah, I saw
but
that.
let's see if it's just those two because I forgot the other option. I was surprised the poll I think majority wanted full payout, and
Yeah.
in my opinion, I just want to know the full payout. Just let me know, even if you mess with me and it's bad, just let me know. It's kind of feel like when you're in a relationship and you know you messed up and your woman is like, just tell me the truth, and you're like, I don't want to tell you the truth. That sounds terrible.
Even
like,
if it's painful, tell me.
Just tell me the truth, and then usually whatever. But what would you rather have if DoorDash was able to change something right now? Would you rather have a higher base wage or full transparent? We're going to tell, even if it's no person does not tip, we're going to tell you the truth.
Yeah,
Would you rather
I think that most people want full transparency. I'm going to say something that might go against what I would like that. I don't need it. For me, if I'm being selfish, I know what the payout's going to be within $1 or $2. So it doesn't matter to me. I can find it. I don't need it. For the community, we need it. Right. And it's the right thing to do because we're independent contractors and they shouldn't hide stuff. It's ridiculous.
Right.
I don't feel like that's what I need. But for me, I would rather have, if I'm being selfish, an extra $2 in base pay because I'm going to make more money because I can find the hidden tips. And if you're going to pay me $2 more per order, I'm going to make $40 or $50 more per day. So for me, I would rather have that.
You know what? It's a great thing you brought that up. So I want to talk about power with you.
Let's talk about it.
Because I know
Tanner's in here. I saw Tanner. He's in.
Yeah, Tanner, if you want to put your link for the Power app, you can.
He ain't selling it no more.
No, he ain't selling it no more. All right. So you were always anti-power. I think you weren't comfortable with sending information, and you weren't comfortable with the idea you could be deactivated. And you said, I don't need tip transparency. I can figure out the tips by myself. And I've seen videos like there's no BS.
I try to show people how to do it.
And you do. You get it. You be getting it. You be hitting it. Let me ask you a question. Do you think, and I could tell you're a very competitive person.
I am.
You don't like to lose.
No.
You like it when you get that hit and tip and you got it right.
Yes,
I can hear it.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. You're right, man. You get
that dopamine hit. You like,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I got it.
Yep.
Like you just hit a jumper, right?
It feels good.
It feels good. Do you think DoorDash is exploiting your competitive nature to gamify the system for you to enjoy doing that when you really should be annoyed because why am I playing this game? Do you feel like they're exploiting your competitive nature? And all of us, because I love to win. I love to figure you think they're doing that on purpose?
I don't know. I think DoorDash and the people that work there, and we're talking about an algorithm and software engineers, I think they're very smart. Yeah. I think it's beyond it goes into the our psychology and how people tech is moving towards that. They know how we think. They know how we want to feel. They understand. I think they even understand that, bad news, DoorDash is in the news for negative things, right?
Yeah.
But that's good for them because they're relevant. So I think they do play them little games with us. And, I think a lot of people do like the challenge of being right and seeing if it's right. But then a lot of people just say, why are we playing games? And just show me what I'm going to get paid. And that's a good point, you know? But for me, I made a lot of mistakes, learned from them and said, okay, it's showing me $6.50. It's showing me 6 items. I know that's $10.50 based on a merchant. Yeah. And if you do it enough, you can get that. And I don't need DoorDash to tell it to me. I wish they would. They're not going to. They're going backwards in their transparency. They're not going forwards. No. They wouldn't gain anything from going forwards, I don't think, at this point. At this point, they're just going to die with it until somebody buys the company. And that's just my opinion. But, they're going to continue to lower the base pay. And maybe it'll go up a little bit if it's long miles. Maybe it won't. We've seen that. I just think they have such a stranglehold on the competition of the market share. They understand that we need this money. A lot of places, we left our jobs last year in the growth of their 200%, and a lot of us didn't go back to those W-2 jobs, right? We started getting
Sound like
comfortable with
we don't
DoorDash.
want to.
And
Like I
some
think a
people
lot of
don't
us
want
don't
to.
want
Yeah.
to. They don't want to
So,
go back.
and I think they know that, man. I think they
Yeah.
know that. I think it's very calculated what they're doing.
So I guess in that idea, or going with that idea, are we really the boss, or is the algorithm our boss? Like, are we in control, or is the algorithm? And I'm talking about every app. I'm even talking about the apps that Rover, but the dogs. Like, are we really in control at all?
I do think we are in control, because at the end of the day, we get to decide to hit accept or decline.
Yeah.
The algorithm won't make us do things, and sometimes, like, very, they might, I've had them give me an order where I didn't accept and I had to call support, or I had them, but at the end of the day, we still have the decision to say yes or no.
Mhm.
So I do think we are still the boss. Yeah.
I hear that. So, in terms of, I think you talked about this as well, but DoorDash.
I'm not ignoring you. I'm just watching the chat too. I got
Oh, that's cool.
UDM in
That's
the
cool.
house. We got a
Yeah,
lot
I'm
of people
looking.
in here, man.
Yeah, man, awesome. Because you're here. You bring
No,
you bring the
no, no,
crowd.
no, no,
No,
no.
I recognize almost every name in here. I see them in
Yeah, me
all
too.
of the
Just
live
Jeremy,
streams.
Jacqueline, Zach. I know all these names. Steve.
Uh,
Got good
yeah,
people in here, man.
very good people, and I think that's why I wanted to do this, because I just love the chat, talking to people while either you're doing your premieres, or now UDM is back with his morning stuff. That's great, because I don't really get a lot of live stream from the morning, so that's great. He came back, and when
Yeah, it
that
is.
dad come in, I like this, because I don't really chat. Who uses the chat feature other than YouTube? Like I don't,
Yeah,
like I'll check out the
yeah.
forums. Do you check out? Do you have any? Are you in like Facebook? I know you're not a Facebook guy. You're not a
No,
Reddit
I don't
guy.
have Facebook. I installed Instagram literally to talk to Tanner, because he wanted to text on something. So I have Instagram, but I don't use it.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
had a TikTok, but I don't even use that. So I have YouTube. That's it. I have nothing. I have no Reddit.
So you
nothing.
communicate. So you mostly, when people want to communicate, is all about is email basically.
It's email. People send me emails, and then I am okay. Hannibal, I'm gonna share something with you real quick, since
Sure.
we're friends now. Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm a little crazy. I am super competitive. I used
Yeah.
to be way more competitive, but I've toned it down. But
Yeah.
like, I literally am. I do a lot with YouTube right now. Videos every day.
Yeah.
I'm in
Yeah.
the comments. If I post a video, I'm in the comments. I comment on every single comment on my
Yeah.
video.
Yeah.
And if somebody sends me an email, I try to really respond. I try to be really involved in the community. And even if it's somebody that disagrees with me, I try to understand their side. And if I think they're crazy, I just dismiss it. Like,
Right.
I can't get with it. But at the end of the day, like, yeah, I guess I'm always in the comments. I'm in everybody else's comments. I'm reading stuff. I'm trying to learn.
Mhm.
I'm trying to see what people are talking about. But YouTube is my only form of communication as far as the gig stuff goes. Yeah.
I mean, and okay, you could talk a little bit about your YouTube success. I mean, everything you. That's why I think you have growth has been so extraordinary. Is like you put the same thing as you doing your dashing. You put your all in it. Like we was talking privately. Like I know, especially with me and you, all we're doing is YouTube, gig work, and family. Like I've went out yesterday with my family for the first time in a couple of weeks. Like that's all I'm doing, and I'm pretty happy with that, which is weird. I guess because the lockdown forced me to not worry about so many different things. I just worry about gig work, and I love YouTube, and I love my family, and that's all. And I'm pretty.
Isn't that
comfortable with
great?
that.
Isn't
Yeah.
that great to have, though?
Yeah, it took, unfortunately, it took something terrible happening for me to understand that. Whereas, like, all the options, all the other things, all the distracting things, the things you think, why did I thought about? Like, why I took that so seriously? Why I care about that? When you really have your priorities, like, oh, this is all I care about. Care about my wife, care about my son, care about my mom, and, making money, obviously, and YouTube and talking to all the cool people here. It's like, this situation just made things such simpler, if that and I feel more complete, if that makes any sense. So
I get you, everything you just said, man.
Mm.
I get it. It's crazy how bad things can happen, negative life things and important things and hurtful things happen. And same thing happened. A few things happened to me in the last 18 months.
Yeah.
And it makes you appreciate stuff, man. It makes you kind of have to like rethink some things and like reevaluate. At least for me, that's how I've had to reevaluate some things and what's really important. And, you know, and it was hard to get through it. But once I got to a point where I got about 6 months ago, it felt really good. But, you know.
I guess my question to you, and you probably, I think you already, I know your answer, but are we practicing enough gratitude with gig work? I feel like sometimes I catch myself complaining a lot. Not because I already said it, I love complaining. I love complaining. I don't think I try as much on YouTube, but I complain about everything. But are we just not appreciating, like, because again, a lot of stuff that, you know, there's some, like I said, there's no job perfect. And I feel like, you know, sometimes you work at a W-2, obviously you worked in the hospitality industry, and I've worked at UPS at one point, and it's always the old head that's the most like angry guy, like black pilled guy there. Like he's like, yeah, don't work so hard. They're like, what do you mean don't work so hard? They don't take it. They don't care about you. And I'm like, yo, dude, you've been here for 20 years. You get paid really well. Like, why are you so upset? Like, and then the question, like, why are you still here if you're that upset? And I feel like so I don't know, like, if the OGs, even the gig tubers, and I think the ones that I talk to are mostly positive. But what happens if you are talking to someone and they're like downing, but they're still doing it? So I'm just wondering, like, is the ecosystem, you know, like our circle, is it just we're not practicing gratefulness? And like also, like you said, those videos don't click well.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, unfortunately. Yeah. So,
Yep.
You know, are we just a lack of gratitude?
I think, unfortunately, as a society, we are ungrateful mostly. And I think we're ungrateful. I think we want things now. We want it quick. We want it fast. We want it cheap. And we don't realize how easy we have it sometimes, man. Yeah. Like, we can complain all day about base pay, and I've done it. I went on a rant. My base pay got lowered by 75 cents. I was pissed off for 2 weeks straight, Hannibal. I'm like, I got a 10% pay cut. 50, I made a video, and I'm mad about it.
Yeah.
And looking back now, I'm still not happy. But at the end of the day, I can decide not to dash. I can do something else if I'm that mad. Yeah. And at the end of the day, like, I'm sitting in my comfortable kitchen talking to you on YouTube. How bad is it really? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
I feel you.
And for the old cynical guy that's been a job for 20, 30 years that's complaining, that's just because he hasn't bet on himself yet. And once you start betting on yourself, you tend to be a little more positive about things, I think.
I feel you. So just transitioning into the tipping video. You dropped a lot of stuff. Like, I never really thought about the history of tipping. You know, it's funny when you think of the cultures, you're thinking it happens everywhere. And like, no, it kind of just happens here. Like Europe, it's like Europe, they kind of went past that. It was like, yeah, that's terrible. You should try this. Yes. And it seemed like it was a system created for exploitation of labor.
100%. That's how it started. 100%. As far as in America. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, you know, like, these companies, you know, and again, I don't want to go anti-corporate, but Amazon, right? Like, I ordered my son's shoes yesterday, and like they're here today right now. Like, they just came in, like they were shipped. Like I remember, I remember I got the package. Like, how is this possible to get here so quickly? Is Amazon paying everyone well enough? Like, there's obviously this. I'm not saying exploit. Again, you have the choice to take the job or not, but you know. And I made a video about this a long time ago. Who should dashers be more upset with, the company or customers in terms of the tipping situation? And I ask you, who are you more concerned with, customers in their tipping behavior or DoorDash the company?
That's a good question. You hit me with some dope ass questions, man. So okay, all right. People should tip. For if you want food delivered to your home, it's a luxury thing. It's not an essential. 99% of what we deliver is not essential. I think there's a few times I've delivered something I thought, okay, that's kind of an essential prescription or a baby formula or diapers. Those are big, you know, the chicken McNuggets from McDonald's is never an essential food item. Okay. It's not. So you should tip for that. I believe transparency starts with the customer. So I hold the companies accountable they need to be more transparent on their apps with things. And the companies can do more. These big companies can make a little bit less money to have a better company overall. They can.
Yeah.
And, I hold the companies accountable. Customers aren't going to tip. That's going to happen all the time. I mean, there's nothing we can really do about it.
Yeah.
We can't control that. We can just control what we take and don't take. And that's where I think DoorDash should come in and say, okay, this customer wants Pedro to go 10 miles and I'm DoorDash and I'm going to pay him $3. No, I got to up this. Otherwise, I got to value my driver. And I also have to I got to let the customer know at some point, they work for tips and they got to do a better job because some customers don't tip. And the history of tipping in this country is a small reason why some people just don't. They're against the big corporations. They think that they should pay Pedro and Hannibal a fair wage. Why do I have to pay a wage?
Yeah.
And some people think that. It's crazy, but they do.
Well, are you a Quentin Tarantino fan? You
I've seen all of his movies.
So you've seen Reservoir Dogs and Mr. Pink explaining tipping, right? Like
Steve Buscemi.
Why am I tipping the waitress? I don't tip the McDonald's employee. Like, why society says tip these people over here, but then you're still not tipping. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's and the reason why I'm familiar with the tipping because my best friend works at a bar. He worked there, probably different bars for a few years, and I've been around bar employees and bartenders and bar backs, and sometimes I feel like it's an ignorance thing sometimes.
Absolutely,
of certain people, or certain situations. It's a cultural thing too, where you may not have enough resources to tip. And I'm talking, you can go in different racial communities, but speaking from my experience, I had to explain an 18-year-old, young lady about tipping. She was like, "Why am I tipping?" I'm like, "No, this is how it that's just ignorant." She didn't know. You know what I mean?
But it's she didn't know. But then once you learn about it, you should say, "Okay, that it's a kind gesture." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm out at dinner. I could have stayed home, but it's a special occasion, and I'm out. I should tip if I get good service. You know, and it should be dependent upon you as a server. You shouldn't expect tips because you got to give service. I've seen servers give bad service, right?
Right.
I've worked with them and you could do better. You got to do better. You got to own your own stuff.
You got to care.
You got to care. You got to care. But as drivers, if I'm delivering you food at 9 p.m. and I'm waiting for you, I'm using my card, my gas, and I'm bringing it to your door. I mean, you got to tip for that. And if you don't, I mean, come on. But it is a matter of ignorance, I think. And I think it's cultural as well with some cultures. I'm Puerto Rican, man. My aunts and uncles and my cousins, they don't work industry. And like you said, if they don't know somebody close that could kind of teach them, they don't tip. And I'm out with them. I'm like, bro, let me, and I check them. I'll check them immediately.
Yeah.
And, if we're splitting tabs, I'm like, hey, man, you took care of her, right? Oh, I left her $2 and the bill's $50. I'm like, no, ain't enough, bro. You're going to leave here and you're going to want to come back and they're going to talk about you in the back of our house, in the kitchen, the dude that left $2 or didn't tip, and you're not going to get good service. Tip your waiters, tip your tip these people, and you'll be taken care of even better next time. Yeah. So, but it's definitely cultural too. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was exposed to it, and I know how it feels I see how it feels when you tip well. When you do well, you feel better. They feel better. They take care of you. They give you free drinks. I've see this all the time. You throw a few dollars. You're like, yo, are you about to leave? Like, yeah, I gotta go. Oh, take another shot. You're like, oh shit, I gotta take another. All right, but you.
I mean, it comes back to you. If you tip, it comes back to you. I'm a decent tipper, and I go into places. If I'm there a few times, they remember me, and I get better service. I can feel it. And it's a good transactional thing. It's like you're helping me, I'm helping you, where it's a relationship. It's being kind to one another. And it's just a few dollars here and there. You know what I'm saying? And it's about being kind and understanding. These people are single moms and single dads and trying to go to school, put their way through school, or trying to put their kids through school, or they're doing it as a side hustle. Tipping is a matter of respect for me as well. I did the video today because I wanted to learn things, and people, I'm trying to come up with new, fresh content as well, and not just regurgitate the same baloney all day. And I thought, you know what? Why do people tip? And I went down this rabbit hole of reading things. I'm like, wow, I didn't understand it as much,
I appreciated that you took the time to do that because it got me to thinking about tipping. It's just, our culture, American culture, we kind of just expect this as a system. But I
Yeah.
guess if it's up to you, if you had a magical wand, you was able to change this whole thing in a day, right? Tomorrow, and we're not at tomorrow yet, but tomorrow you could change everything with a magical wand. Would you change the whole tipping situation? Would it just be like in Europe, you got paid a decent wage and you're not expected to tip, or like in someone put in the chat, you talked about as well, Japan, tipping someone
It's
is
rude.
rude. Would you like to have that kind of system?
Oh man, I don't know. I think I know thousands of people that I've worked with in the restaurant industry that have made a good living making tips,
Yeah.
putting kids through school, families, paying their mortgage by being bartenders and servers. So I don't think I would change it because, uh, I think if Applebee's paid everybody $15 an hour, right? And they couldn't afford to, first off. I mean, maybe they could,
That's
but
the
then
thing too. You're
you
right.
see, if
'Cause,
we pay too much, then is there as many Applebee's? So then is there many people employed? So I wouldn't change it. I think it's just about getting education, and knowledge is power, and like talking about it. And my hopes when I made the tipping video is a handful of people, maybe 4 to 5 people, would see the video that aren't dashers, they're customers, and they watch YouTube and thought, oh, DoorDash drivers don't make they if I tip, I'll get my food. If I could change a couple people's minds on it, I
yeah,
did my job. So I
yeah,
would keep it the way it is because it has, for the most part, worked. But I don't like the history of how it started. I'll tell you that. Like I
no,
didn't
it
realize
clearly
that,
is like we trying to find ways not to pay
not to pay
labor.
people, and it's very a class system.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people tip and they feel like they're better than you. They expect you to be their servant. If you tip a certain amount, it becomes a rude thing. I
yeah,
think some people, small percentage, tip for selfish reasons. Like, look at me, I'm going to give you $100 to cocktail waitress at the casino. Now you're going to be my whatever for the night. I'm going to
hit on
buy
them.
your,
Yeah, yeah.
And I think there's a little bit of that cockiness sometimes with tipping and stuff. So I wouldn't change it, but nothing's perfect. I mean, you can't, if I had a magic wand, I'd change something else. But with that, I would keep it the same, if I'm being honest.
Okay. Yeah, because just what you were saying in terms of restaurants, I forgot the stat, but majority of restaurants that open are closed within a few years. I don't know, a few years. Most restaurants don't make it, right? Profit
In the
margins
first year, if you have a restaurant
yeah,
and you have broken even or lost a little bit of money, that is a huge success. And
yeah,
most restaurants don't make it to the year 3. By year
that's
3,
crazy.
they can, yeah, because everybody, well, part of it is, oh, I could talk about this for hours, man. These banks and all these places will give all these people that think they want to have a restaurant loans and overcredit their
Oh,
lines and give them these more. It's bad. Everybody thinks they can run a restaurant. Running a restaurant is extremely hard. You
yeah,
don't have days off. Like, you're working 14 hours a day. You get stressed out. I mean, food cost is high. Operating a restaurant at profit from a small business aspect is one of the hardest things you can do as a small
yeah.
business owner. I know
I think
many
I've
people that have failed and succeeded, but it's very, very hard. If you make it to year 3, then you can maybe be okay. But
yeah.
just because your restaurant's full doesn't mean you're making money either. You got to have your cost in line, and there's a lot of things with restaurant, man. It's really hard business to be in.
Yeah, I would not want. I mean, I think I remember at one point thinking, I was like, have I got enough money to get a bar? But I've watched a lot of Bar Rescue and Kitchen Nightmares and Kitchen Impossible, and I'm
Yes,
like,
I
yeah,
watched all of. They're all great.
and they're like, yeah, I mortgaged my house and my mom's house. Oh yeah, I'm 6 figures in debt. Hey, can you fix this? And then you go with like,
It's crazy.
that's crazy.
It's
But I
crazy, man.
get so it's like, can this system is sustainable to pay employees well without tips? And it seems like it's not possible, right? Because you're
I
saying
don't
that you're
know.
struggling you just got this business, you got the restaurant, you don't have enough money to staff everybody, so you're working too. You may not be taking a salary, and then like in New York City, minimum wage is 15. It could be even higher at this point. How are you able to pay? Like it's a juggling act.
That's the
Of
thing, and that's it's. There was restaurants in the last 5 years, plus minus a couple of years, out in the West Coast that tried this, and what they did was they just upped the menu prices for the customers. They were transparent with the customers on the menu or on the website, or the host would tell them. These were kind of not upscale restaurants, but like decent kind of restaurants, And they let them know, we have a very loose tipping, tipping isn't part of our culture in this establishment. And the customer knew, though, they were going to pay a little bit more for the menu prices, but it was like they tried to like make it a relaxing, like no pressure kind of environment. And also they paid their servers and bartenders, 15 to 20 bucks an hour. That didn't last that long. Oh, some of the restaurants are still kind of doing it, but most of them, they couldn't sustain keeping some of the staff because they were like, I'm not making enough money because I'm not getting any tips. And this $15 an hour, I'm getting taxed on all of that. Whereas if I'm getting cash tips, I don't have to tell the IRS I made $200. I only need to tell them I made maybe $100 when I clock out. So they were actually making a lot less money, but then companies were shelling out more. So really, it didn't work. Places have tried it. I don't know what the answer is. It's tough. I mean, I think it's good to try things to see if they work. We can't just continue to do the same stuff and expect a different result. Yeah. But I think the tipping it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to be here for a while still. Yeah. I think it's about just getting the knowledge out to the customers about what the real is, and then as independent contractors, we can say, I'm not taking that. And the bad thing is a server has a 6-table section. They got to take every table.
Yeah. There's no way I'm not taking that one. Yeah.
They got no choice. Yeah.
I feel you. There's only one restaurant that I recall. It's still open, but I think it's like a really popular restaurant in Brooklyn that but it's a Japanese restaurant. It serves ramen. And when you open up the menu, they say you don't accept tips. Yeah. You don't accept tips, and real traditional restaurant. Like they, and it's not just only Asian people. They have all types of people in there, but they say no tips. We have enough, don't just pay what you owe. And it's a good experience, but that's a Japanese, and probably because they have that culture of where
it's a cultural thing. Yes.
Yeah, we can sustain and just employees. You don't have to give us money because they take it as a sign of rudeness. So that's really interesting. But yeah, it looks like it's a complicated. Just like life in general, everything is complicated. It's not one track answer. So let me ask you about just the DoorDash in the next couple of months, like going back into fall. Mm-hmm. What is your thoughts? You think things will get better, worse, they're the same? What do you think is going to happen in September to the end of the year?
If you would have asked me that question 2 or 3 weeks ago, my answer would have been, it's going to be busier. Things are going to open back up. Football games, people going back to work in the offices now. School's going to start. Colleges, like things are going to open back up. Would have been my answer a couple weeks ago. Now, I don't know, man. I don't know what to expect. I was talking when my brother came by tonight to visit the baby. We were talking. He's a smart young man. He's college educated. I'm not. He keeps up with a lot of stuff in the news and politics and world stuff and markets. And he's super smart. He's only 23. Mm-hmm. Anyways, he was telling me like he thinks, he doesn't know what to expect either, but he thinks it's going to, in some states, we're going to take some steps backwards, right? Yeah. And for gig workers, does that mean we're busier like we were last year a little bit? Because people are going to be maybe at home now. They're not as comfortable. They got the mask back on. They want to stay inside. Yeah. They're Delta variants. So for us, is that a positive? I don't know. I mean, it could be. Yeah. What do you think? What do you think?
I've been going back and forth with this one because I feel like there's certain situations that we're dealing with where the unemployment, I think of the federal unemployment was extended to, I think, September. So I'm wondering, like, if that runs out, do people go back? Because I think there's still millions of jobs open, like right now. But no one wants them because they're not the most, jobs is least desired. That's the best way I can work.
Everywhere's hiring in St. Louis. Yeah. There isn't one place that I go pick food up from that doesn't have a now hiring sign. Yeah. Or that doesn't. Every single place is hiring. Walmarts are hiring. Targets are hiring. Every retail, they're going to have to hire for the Christmas time, the seasonal retail people. Every single place that I know of in St. Louis is hiring for a job. So I don't understand why people can't get work.
Because no one.
Because they're lazy, you think?
No, not lazy. I think. Well, if I was getting paid to stay home, I would stay home. I think if that changes and those funds are gone, people would have to go back to work. The eviction moratorium that has been extended, but it does look like that's going to stick because Constitution they're not allowed to do that. So eventually that's going to be gone. So people are going to be looking to work to make some money. Yeah. And you gotta, I guess the question is, do they go back to W-2 jobs? Go back to the restaurants? Go back to the Walmarts and the Walgreens? and leave the gig work for the OGs. You know what I mean? Leave it to the rest of us, the people that check out YouTube, they're reading about it, they're planning, they download the apps, they track their miles, they know how to work this,
Yeah.
and they're struggling because this everybody and their mama is doing DoorDash, but if they go back to W2, maybe things will get better. So that's a little bit of my
It
thoughts.
could. I
Yeah.
think, the unemployment thing is a touchy subject. I think there are some people that are on it that need to be on it, and maybe they didn't
Yeah.
feel safe during the pandemic. They want to be home with my kids,
Yeah.
and you're telling me you're going to pay me to stay home with my kids?
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to get paid to stay home with their kids? A lot
Yeah,
of people
of
would
course.
like to get paid, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's hard to look at that mom with 3 kids and say, go back to work. Like, I'm taking care of my kids during a pandemic. Isn't that the most important thing?
Exactly. I would never
Right. So I
I'm
think
not
it's
faulting
hard
nobody
to.
for doing that. Like if
You
if you're
can't.
able
You
to,
can't.
go ahead. Yeah.
I
But
think
if
that's not the majority. I think there are a lot of people on it still, and they're just milking it a little bit, and they're just like going to wait till it runs out. But those are the people that are marginally employed anyway, most of the time. So yeah, they'll go back to White Castle, McDonald's, Walmart, making 10, $15 an hour, and that's
Yeah.
going to be what they're going to do because they
Yeah.
haven't bet on themselves yet. They haven't decided like, what am I doing with my life, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
eventually, and those kind of people aren't going to do gig work forever because they might not have the funds if the car goes down to fix it. Like, I think we'll be okay. The ones that want to do it full time or they're doing it part time, plus you got other side hustles, will be fine. And the ones that are just doing it, it's just going to be a few months for them anyway. So
Yeah. I am interested about a lot of Uber and Lyft drivers are not coming back. And that's a gig work, and they're not interested anymore because a lot of them went to the delivery apps because it's less
yeah,
wear and tear in their cars. So
yeah,
they're scrambling, and I know friends of mine. A few times that I had to use Uber because I didn't want to drive to the destination, way more expensive. So I'm
way more
wondering
expensive.
what are their options? Because they put out the 250 million stimulus plan. It looks like it didn't work, or the money didn't go to the drivers.
Yeah,
So I'm wondering, is that something that may possibly happen if people do go back to work? So that's my hope. That unfortunately, the system is not set to have this many dashers. It just doesn't seem like that way, and
yeah,
people would have to kind of. But if you feel bad because I think a lot of people had the awakening during last year of what I really want to do, and gig
yep,
work, and I think it helped. It did for you and did for me that it brought a sense of freedom.
absolutely.
But can that freedom be given to everybody?
Yeah,
And that's a
yeah,
kind of sad, right? But it's like, can
yeah,
everyone be able to do this?
yeah. And
Yeah,
gig work isn't for everybody either.
yeah,
You gotta figure out your taxes. You gotta figure this out. You don't have insurance, or maybe you do, but it's not great. Like you don't
yeah,
have anybody putting in your Social Security for you. You got nobody putting in your 401k for you. You don't have anybody waking you up, telling you when to work, holding you accountable. Like you have to do this and to make money, you got to be built a little different.
yeah,
There's not a lot of UDMs. You know what I'm saying? There's not a
yeah,
lot of gig lives. There's not a lot of guys that have been doing it for a while that can sustain, because it's not easy all the time to manage all those things. And with Uber and Lyft and stuff, I think a lot of people, there was a shortage of rides because people weren't working and they weren't traveling. So those drivers had to go to other work. They went to deliver food. And it was
yeah,
safer too, because you never know who's getting in the backseat of your car. And
yeah.
there's more
Too
control with the
many, and
food
there's too
delivery.
many videos out there, and I mean
Yeah,
that
it's
even
scary.
that's terrible person coughing on the driver and spitting, and it's like and
Dude,
even it's just disgusting, right? Or even
I've picked up a lot of drunk people in my time. I've never had anybody do that. But yeah,
yeah,
you picking up drunk people at midnight and 1 a.m, it can be scary, man. It's not,
yeah.
it can go sideways real quick. I mean, it can.
Just that you gotta make that money, and you just want to pray and be like, all right, make sure I can get back home to my family. And I can see why Uber and Lyft drivers are like, you know what, I'll just deliver chicken McNuggets
It's not, yeah, I'll
today.
deliver McNuggets. The McNugget isn't going to cough on me and shoot
Yeah,
me. And you know what I'm saying? Like,
even it's late night, like, even if me, like I was doing deliveries up to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I always, that probably wasn't the safest thing, but I was always cool with it because I'm in my neighborhood. I know the neighborhood. I kind of knew areas, but I'm driving, and you do it. You do ride share,
yeah,
but there's a person behind me I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
it's a difficult, it's challenging, but I guess you get used to it. I'm assuming you just get used
You
to that
do. I
kind of
got used
feeling.
to it. I mean, I'm a people person, people pleaser. I like meeting new people. That's how I'm built. I'm come from the restaurant background. I always liked that kind of stuff. So I didn't bother me. And there's been times I've had people in my car and I, other people that, let's say other people would have picked them up, they probably would have flipped out. I've been in
Yeah,
situations where I had a guy, I picked him up and he just said he just got out of prison. I took him out to East St. Louis. It's 2 a.m. He's got these
yeah,
bags. He's acting weird questions. He's acting sketchy.
yeah.
And I'm driving the road's completely dark. And I had to think many times on that ride, all right, if something pops off, what's my move?
Right,
You
right.
know, like I had to get my phone. I was on my phone for a little while. I put my hand in a position where maybe he thought I had a gun and I didn't. Like it was
Whatever it is, yeah.
nothing happened, but it's crazy. I remember dropping him off and thinking, what the hell did I just do? Why did I do
Why
this?
am I here? Like, why am I?
For a $20 trip, I risked a possible mugging. It's ridiculous, you know?
Yeah, yeah. It's just even
Crazy.
I talked about this story with people hustling and they're having their kids in the back of the car while they're doing delivery. And that one dude who left his car running with his
Oh,
two kids in the back seat is like
it's sad,
going
man.
back to what you're saying in your videos a couple of videos ago, just about the balance of like I understand hustle and you gotta do what you gotta do, but there's some levels like is this like the cost and benefit analysis, is this worth my safety or my kids' safety, or you know what I mean? Like that has
It's
to be
not.
something you think about.
It's not. It's not. And
Yeah,
I think, I never want to like tell somebody else how to pay their bills or, I'm not in their shoes, right?
yeah,
But at the end of the day, I do think a lot of us, we say we don't have money or we can't pay the rent or whatever. I would like to challenge a lot of people on that. And I've talked to some friends and other people that were in this situation. I had a friend of mine. He always struggles with money, right? I would help him borrow. I'd give him some money sometimes, and I had to stop doing that. And I can't find a place to live in my car. But the guy would spend endless amounts on Red Bull, coffee, and buying things he didn't need. And he had 3 phones. And
yeah,
there's the money sometimes can be there. And is that $20 Uber ride with your kids worth it? Probably not, because
yeah,
you just spent $20 on McDonald's when you could have made some sandwiches.
yeah,
So I think there's some personal responsibility with financing that some people just don't have, whether it's an ignorance thing or it's they don't want to. But like, th- you know, we shouldn't be putting ourselves in positions of harm to make that $20. You got to
yeah.
figure out other ways to like make the ends meet sometimes. And I don't know. I could talk about that for a long time too. I'm super opinionated if you haven't known, but like you got to sometimes just pause and say, hold on, what am I doing?
Yeah.
What am I really doing? Like, is this really important? Because at the end of the day, delivering chicken McNuggets is not that big of a
It's
deal.
not the Anna Bill, but you know what? I feel bad. I feel like I've been ignoring the chat for so long. Everyone's talking. You know
I mean,
what?
they're in there,
Oh
bro. They're in
yeah,
there.
I really appreciate every single one of you guys. I watch, I'm watching a lot of your videos at Tanner and Gig
Lexi,
Life with Lexi,
Jeremy,
and awesome, awesome, awesome. So you know
Jacqueline.
what?
I know that Jacqueline, Nicole. I mean, I know a lot of these names.
Yeah, you got
Frumple feet. I mean, yeah,
Jeremy's in here too.
that's what's up.
So are you going to be teaching these type of lessons at the gig conference, Pedro? Are you
Oh,
going to be
geek
teaching
conference,
tax?
dude.
You
Your
tax
segues
preparation?
that's a great segue, man.
Are you going
So
to
we've
like?
been
Yeah,
talking about this gig conference, and you and I spoke about it. I think Sunday night. We had a really
yeah.
great conversation. Thanks for that.
Mhm.
It's happening. Summer 2022. We're going to do a gig conference. City TBD. Uh, I can say now I'd like it to be like a Friday night, Saturday kind of deal, and we're inviting anybody that wants to come. I'm going to figure out how to make that logistically good
Yeah,
and hotel and all that, and we'll figure out some food. It's going to be low key. It's going to be simple. It's not going to be somewhere where people come and sell you crap. It's going to be meet and greet, have fun, community, and who can make it, who makes it, who makes it. And if there's
yeah,
20 people there, there's 20 people. If there's 200, there's 200. But it's going to happen. We'll have some speakers. We've already lined up, some gig YouTubers that'll come and speak about maybe their channel or whatever else. Maybe we'll do some kind of contest, some prizes, some giveaways. I want to work on getting some of the people that work at Uber, DoorDash, Grubhub, like corporate guys to come and do maybe find one person to come and speak about their end of it. So I'm really looking forward and putting this together. Right now, I can say the people that said that they would be interested in coming are some subscribers, but yourself, Tanner, Kim Side Money Plans, DoorDash Dad, Derek, Gig Lebowski, a few other ones I'm probably missing, but I know some people, as far as the creators, said that they'd like to come. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to putting this together, and with your help and other people's help, I think it could be a really fun time. It's not about like, let's get together and talk all about DoorDash. It's also just about getting together. Yeah. And talking about, hey, what's going on? Like, what are your goals? Are you, nice to meet you. I see you in the chat. How's that business you got going on? Like, things like that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm really looking forward to it. So.
Yeah, like I told you during our last conversation, I'm like, it doesn't matter where it is. I'm going, like, whatever. I don't know. I think William put in the chat. It may be in St. Louis.
I think, what, right now, if I'm being honest, guys.
Because if you have you got the logistics, you kind of have some connections already. Yeah. It would be actually the easiest place to start, since you already kind of have a foothold in the community. It is. Talking to business owners and stuff like that.
It would be easiest for me, okay, if I'm being selfish, but also it would be easiest for a lot of us because I can get us some catering for free. We don't have to worry about meal pricing. I know I can get us hotels at probably $60 a night, which is a good, in a good hotel. This, a nice hotel, $60 a night. Yeah. Logistically, it's in the middle of the country. We have a lot of things we can still do here. If you want to come for a week and have a family vacation, St. Louis is a fantastic
major city.
Major city, but it's not super expensive. I mean, free zoos and free parks, and it's weather during summer is pretty good. So that's where I'm leaning, but I do want to put some polls out there and get people's opinions. But at the end of the day, the few of us that are going to help put this together will make that decision. And if you can make it, fantastic. So
please, everyone, definitely. Lisa, thank you for $2.99. Appreciate
right sure. Lisa's in the house.
Hopefully you make it, Lisa. I would love to meet you in person. You're a super, super awesome person. Yeah, I'm totally interested.
Tanner said he'll bring the entertainment. There you go. See,
you're gonna do like some like that? Are we gonna cliff dive off or something?
I don't know that. They could.
Yeah, he's impressive.
They dive off stuff. They got bikes. They got acrobatic stuff. I mean, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. But it's interesting. He's not gonna sell anything. He's not gonna bring his sneakers.
Listen, I want to be very clear.
Actually, I may buy a pair. I actually like those. I love high tops.
I saw the white ones. The white ones look pretty good. They look
no BS. I may buy a pair.
They look clean. They look clean. But I don't want it to be like where you and I and Tanner and somebody else have a table and we're hawking our stuff. No, I'm gonna have my shirts by then. I'm gonna give some shirts away for free. Yeah. It's about meeting people, and maybe Gig Conference too. It's something different, but I think inaugural. I don't want to be selling stuff. Like do that on the side if you want.
I feel like it's a conference, it's a meetup.
It's a conference.
It's like a meetup.
Tech companies do these things. Big companies have conferences and they go places and they're not selling. The employees aren't selling stuff to each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's about community. It's about just meet and greet and having fun. So.
Awesome. Well, I'm definitely in it. I guess we have to figure out what the plan is that we're going to get. Either we're going to have a video or kind of like basically a live stream of a meeting where we all actually come together. Like, I guess the YouTubers and, obviously everyone else is invited, that we can kind of figure this out live, actually. I think that's interesting. And, because we are fully transparent, our transparency, we are literally going to say, hey, listen, let's try to figure this out. What works? What topics should we talk about? Yeah. What things people are want to learn about that, you guys know or understand, and you can give. And again, like I said, it's all free. So we just appreciate people coming in. Nicole for $2, appreciate it. Appreciate
Nicole,
it. Thank you very much. Hopefully you can make it. I know it's summer. I think we're kind of aiming towards like the slow time of summer. I guess maybe kind of like right around now, like maybe the end of July, early August, before school starts, right after 4th of July activities and stuff like that. Yes. So I think that's kind of where we are.
I think there's that 3-week window, like the week after 4th of July, but then before kids go to school. So that 4 weeks maybe there. I think that's where that sweet spot would be, and we'll have to figure out. And I think Friday, Saturday kind of makes sense for people that drive. You know, you can still work your job. Maybe you take a Friday off, you drive or fly. You're there Friday festivities, Saturday festivities, and then you drive or fly back Sunday. You're back at work on Monday. So I think the Friday, Saturday days kind of work. So
I think Tana wants to go to your house.
Gig conference live tomorrow on Pedro's channel. I mean, yeah, we're gonna get. We gotta get it logistically. I want to get people like Tanner and other people that said they would be interested in doing this and helping and being part of it.
Yeah,
and we'll do it on a live stream, on a StreamYard or something, and the community can chat in the live chat or the comment section, and then we have a record of what people talked about. We can look back and, you know, we could figure it out like that.
It's so many options, and I feel like it's going to be amazing. It's just going to be amazing event, and you know, we're gonna be here. We're gonna be here. We're gonna put it together, and we're gonna put it together in front of you guys. So we really appreciate everyone that's here. This has been a fantastic conversation, dude. I told you we could talk all day, man.
Dude, I mean,
we could talk all day.
Oh, so let's talk real quick. I want to mention something. So, what is today? Thursday? I lose my days. Yesterday, I'm out doing my gig life, and you know, I watch YouTube. I don't watch TV. Okay.
Yeah.
So, the versus battle. Okay. So versus, if anybody that's a hip hop fan, you take like one hip hop or one R&B person or group, and you pin them against another, and then people, I don't know if they vote or there's like live audience,
like a conversation piece.
Yeah. But it started like even during pandemic, they would do it virtually and like, you know, right. But now, you know, so we had the Locks group, which is a bad boy sign group back from like the early 2000s, late 19 whatevers, went against the Dipset, which was, you know, Cameron and Jules Santana and Jim Jones. Oh, poor Jim Jones. And you know, and Jadakiss, the rapper, just did this freestyle and just bodied.
Yeah.
I mean, so I was watching it and I instantly thought of a couple of my friends, and I was like, oh, I wonder if Hannibal watched it. I know he likes hip hop. I had to text him right away, like, Hannibal, did you see this, man? Like, and he was watching it. He said, as I texted him, I thought that was funny. So just a little story for the people.
I was literally walking a dog, and I popped it. Like, I'm in New York, so obviously, you know, Dipset is in Harlem. You know, Locks is Yonkers.
Yeah.
So people were like, you would walk by, and people on the block or in the stoops talking about it, like it's a big deal, and everyone's like, "Yo, Jadakiss was the MVP." You could tell the Locks still make music.
I didn't know that.
You have Spotify. What do you use for your music?
I use Apple Music. I'm lame. Sorry.
It's fine. It's the same thing. it's all the same. They still put out music. Good music.
I didn't know that.
They had an album out last year. Like, so you could tell who's still performing and who's like tip top. Like Jadakiss is like up there. He's a legend. Like
a lot of people are gonna have him in his top 10 of MCs. A lot of people would put him maybe towards the back half of that, but for a lot of people he's very undervalued as an MC. Yeah.
It's always amazing and inspiring to watch someone who's mastered a craft. You know what I mean? Like mastered something. Like, you know, like J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar. I was listening to some Jay-Z before the stream.
Yeah.
Like you just see someone, or even basketball, right? Like, you know, like I feel like, you know, you love Kobe. It's been well documented. But I would say if I had to put you somewhere, your rise of YouTube is kind of like Luka. Like you came out of nowhere. You just started dominating.
I love Luka.
Like, you know, like, where does God come from? Where is it? And then he's in the Olympics doing triple doubles. You know what I mean? Like, it's like
listen, you know what? I did kind of come out of nowhere, but I'm a little bit crazy, like I said earlier. And like I was calculated, but I was also like, I'm just gonna be me. Like, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Like there'd be times I'd be driving and like I talk to myself while I'm in my car before I started filming, and I'm just going through scenarios, and I thought, my girlfriend was like, you should like just film this. Like I've run into crazy scenarios, and like, you know what? I am going to do it. And I remember the first day I was like, I bought myself shirts at the mall with my name on it. I had 0 subs. I had shirts already. Okay, Hannibal. I had business cards. I made business cards I'd hand out to fellow Dashers. I was grinding, man, betting on myself all the way. I have no humility. I would be in UDMs, DoorDash Dads chats, calling them like, hey, I got a channel, check me out. I have no problem being my biggest cheerleader.
Yeah.
And you know, I would literally run into Dash and be, hey dude, I need to check my channel out, bro. I can help you. And hand them a card.
You already had like a brand off the
I
bat.
had a
You was
brand before I had
already
a brand.
yeah.
Absolutely.
You was like you came in like bet on you, set goals, and I'm like, damn, that's good. I didn't.
Dude,
Have,
bro, I literally, that just came to my brain, man.
yeah.
It's like the only good idea I've ever had in my life, and it just hit me. I'm dry, and I was recording, and I said it, and I didn't even understand how, on some scales, how kind of big it's been, and it's
Yeah.
going to continue to grow, and I feel really proud about that, and very humbled,
You should be,
and
man. Oh,
you know, it's amazing, man. You know, I talk a lot of crap on DoorDash, right? But I'm gonna tell you something. You spoke about this earlier.
mhm.
I am grateful in some ways because you know what? If I didn't have DoorDash, I don't know if I'd have a YouTube channel like this. That
Yeah.
might be something different, might be better, might be worse, but maybe I'm not helping people. I feel like I'm helping some people every day. I'm helping a handful of people every day.
Yeah,
And that feels
definitely.
really good, man. You know?
I mean, yeah, like you getting emails, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, it's
you show
good.
that you're doing something positive, and you kind of it just all came together. It just all
It
came
just
together.
came together, man. Yeah.
Um,
And the people motivate me. People like you motivate me when you got your videos and the editing is amazing and you're talking about topics
yeah,
and it's fantastic. And it makes me want to do more because you know, am I doing enough? Is my video good enough? And being challenged by the subscribers that maybe disagree with me and hold
yeah,
me accountable. And I've had some of that. And then I think back in the moment, I'm like, oh, is that a troll? But then I got to think, no, what? No, it's not.
yeah.
It's somebody that just has a different opinion, and that's okay.
I
You know what
feel
I'm
you.
saying? And
I feel you. I feel you. Oh, John, I think I was trying to figure out how to give you a wrench. Thank you for the super chat. I got you. You know, John is a good, cool dude. We hit each other up on IG. I think I got you on the wrench, John.
somebody message deleted by the Google moderator team. Tanner must have said something out of line, I guess.
Oh yeah,
What?
yeah. I'm not even looking at. Like, I just went over to the website. I'm on Streamyard.com actually, but I just went over to get the wrench.
No, it
You
looks
know,
like the chat's
you know
chat's good.
the interesting thing. I don't know. I think you probably noticed this though. Like you start to expand your topics, and because another gift came to you
Oh
where you
yeah,
could
man.
not dash, right?
Yeah,
'Cause you didn't want to.
well, I didn't want to. I could have, but I didn't want to. No. Yeah.
And that gift got you like no sit your butt down. Okay, you still want to do daily content, but you can't leave the house right now. So what you gonna do? And I think that's how it kind of came together.
I missed that last question. My girlfriend said, "What'd you say?"
Oh
I
no, I'm
heard you
saying
said gift, and yeah.
well, just the idea that the birth of your daughter, you had to kind of sit back and think of other ways to contribute because
Oh
you
yes,
weren't out dashing. That you
yes.
were able to still, and now you're expanding and talking about things, which is awesome. You know what I mean? Like it's
You
not
know,
just the ride alongs.
I am, and you know what? I'm glad you brought that up because like I didn't work I didn't work, and I took 17 days off because I wanted to, I needed to, and I wanted to. It
Yeah,
was important for me.
yeah,
But then I thought I still had time in the middle of the night, or in these topics were coming, people were emailing me, and I thought I could do some different kind of videos.
yeah.
And a lot of people were watching those, and I was actually surprised. More people were watching some of those than my ride-alongs. I think I did so many ride-alongs, it got boring. And I thought,
Mhm.
okay, let me mix it up. And how can I help the community in a different way? And that's what I've been
Yeah,
trying to do a little bit. And I think I'll continue to kind of do a mix of those, plus like the tipping video I did today. And then I got another couple videos coming out this week that are going to be a little bit different, more
nice.
newsworthy. But I don't want to just keep talking about what everybody else is talking about. I'll still do that. But like I'm trying to pick things that maybe not enough people know about, so that even if the views aren't there, like we still need to hear about it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to like change it up a little bit and keep it fresh, but then also challenge myself to not just do the same stuff every day. So
Yeah, it tells you it's kind of one of the things that once you feel too comfortable, you gotta push yourself out that comfort and try to do something different. That's something that I'm always working on myself. Even this right here, trying to do like an interview type thing where usually I'm very calculated in my videos. I'm cutting out all the dumb things I say and trying to make it, but this is more live. It can't change it. But like you gotta put yourself in out of the comfort zone. That's where growth happens, right?
absolutely,
When you out that comfort zone. So that's awesome. Um,
absolutely.
wow, how long we been on? We're on an hour and 15 minutes.
Who cares? I can go as long as you want, bro.
The chat. Is there any questions you have for Pedro? I know I feel like I feel terrible. I didn't really look at the chat as much. I didn't want to be distracted too much by the chat because
Hold on. John just said I'm looking forward to the new Nas album. There's a new Nas album coming out.
it's out today, sir. Well,
Wow.
your timing, well, I don't know. It may not be on your phone. It's coming out Friday. So whenever Friday hits, so I think on my phone, I probably got
Man,
the album right now.
I'm a
Um,
shameful hip hop fan. I always find these things out late. Nas is my favorite artist
get out of
in hip
here.
hop,
Get out of
and
here. Are you serious?
I've said that many times. Nas is my number one hip hop guy.
All right. Well, jeez. Do you like
The
AZ?
first
Do you
the
know who AZ
first
is?
album, the first album I ever bought was the It Was Written, his second album. I bought it at a Blockbuster Video. I was 10 years old. I I listened to I didn't sleep. I was
Yeah.
10 or 11 and I didn't sleep. I listened to the whole thing. It was when you can open a pamphlet and look at all the words,
Yeah.
right? And it had all the lyrics and I just, dude, that was my album. And then I started, you know, went down my hip hop rabbit hole and started getting into all kinds of stuff. But Nas is my number one. He's got a lot of bad songs, but like he has more songs that resonate with me about just the world and life
Yeah. He's a
and
smart dude.
being a father and his interest. I mean, he's super smart, dude. I love his hip hop, man. I really do.
He's a great entrepreneur. I mean, he
Yeah.
put stock, he bought not bought, but he invested in Ring before Ring became big. So like he's an entrepreneur. The dude can rhyme. Is I mean,
Oh,
it's a song. I don't know if you know this song. It's super old. It wasn't his song. He was featured on the song, and it's like Main Event. He was rapping, and you hear him, and you're like, damn, where does this guy come from? He was 17 years
oh, so
old
this was before
before he
Illmatic.
became, yeah.
Wow.
And you like
Wow.
listen to this, and you're like, how is this a young man? Like, this is crazy. So his ability to rhyme is amazing.
And I
Um,
think a lot of that. I think his dad was a musician, like saxophone
yeah,
or
yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah.
I
Jazz, like a
think
jazz
he's got
musician.
it in his blood, and it was around him, and his
Yeah,
flow and his voice, and just his demeanor, and like I mean, he's my number one hip hop guy, man, for sure. Number
yeah.
one.
Hip hop, gets a lot of bad rap sometimes. Rap pun, but it gets a run because sometimes culture
Yeah,
of being aggressive all the time and
yeah,
drug use, all that. But the biggest hustlers, the biggest entrepreneurs are rappers, and you can listen to a rap record and get inspired to go out there and grind. Like you may not
yeah,
be the biggest Rick Ross fan, but the dude is a hustler. Like if you
yeah.
check out his Instagram, you check out his stuff. He owns like a bunch of wing stops. Like the guy is just buying franchises. Like he probably making more money with his business deals in the rapping game. And a lot of these rappers, like a lot of billionaires now, like Jay-Z, the way he invested in companies, Nas, Rick Ross, a lot of these, and then it kind of translates to basketball too. Like LeBron James, apparently he's a billionaire. I did not know
Oh
that.
yeah.
Apparently, yeah. So
LeBron gets a lot of hate, and I'm Michael Jordan's the GOAT, but LeBron is the GOAT for other reasons. I mean, he seems like I mean, listen, like LeBron James had all this hype in high school, lived up to it,
he did.
married his high school sweetheart, never
Yep.
had any controversy, seems like a really good dad,
Yeah.
hands-on dad, and he's an entrepreneur, and he happens to be one of the best basketball players ever. It's a
He
pretty
seemed
dope
like a
guy.
yeah. He seemed like I don't know if you would want to hang out with Jordan because Jordan
No,
just seems such
Jordan's
a
an
type
asshole.
A personality.
Yeah,
But you would
he's a
want
jerk.
to, but LeBron, you would want to hang out with Braun. You know what I mean? Like it's a
Yeah,
difference.
absolutely.
Like and I don't know if Kobe had that kind. I know Kobe had that mentality, but I think Kobe was probably nicer than Jordan. Unfortunately, but I never met him obviously, but I just feel like Kobe was like a little bit different in between them two. Like he could be cool and want to talk, but
Yeah,
like Jordan
yeah.
didn't want to talk to anybody. He still don't talk
No,
to anybody. Like how
no,
often is
no.
but it is about that mindset though. Like
It is
that
about that hustler.
yeah.
I think there's something to be said for. I mean, just look at what's popular now, man. Look at what's popular in any kind of if music, clothing. It's from hip hop, man.
Yeah, yeah. It's a
Everything,
very, very
Every,
powerful cultural
everything,
event. Yeah,
everything. You go to TikTok right now. 95% of the songs, all the songs the girls and the guys are dancing to, and all the little memes, it's all hip hop. It's
yeah,
all rap.
yeah.
The clothing's coming back. It's all hip hop. I mean, it's very, very, very big, and I think it goes to the hustler mindset and how these guys come from nothing and get to something. I think a lot of the new rappers now, you can't say that as much. They're kind of, it's not like
Was you can put it out on the internet, right? Like back in the
Yeah.
day, like when I was, back in the day in the '90s, when you went outside and let's say you went to the city, you went to Times Square, you would have people stopping you. It's like, yo, can you check out this CD? Can you
Yes.
I'm gonna
Buy my
play it for you.
mixtape. Yes.
Buy my
Yes.
mixtape. Oh, I'm gonna
Yes.
spit a freestyle just to get a few dollars. And
Yep.
sometimes they'll say, yo, it's funny how a stranger, a tourist, will listen to me and give me money more than a person who lives here. And
Yeah.
you be like, all right,
Yeah.
let me listen to this freestyle. It may be
Yeah.
whack or whatever, but you give them a few dollars, you buy the CD, you may not play it, but
Yeah.
that's that kind of hustler mindset that, like you said before in the conversation, where right now we want everything fast because some things can go really fast. Some things, and we're talking about when success comes too quickly, and then you decide to change up a little bit, or
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean. That could be for all types of different situations. So
Yep.
yeah, sometimes I want it fast. I'm impatient. Like I know I
I'm
have some
me too,
ADHD
man.
going on. Like I don't like to stay in one spot for too long. I want to keep it moving. Like you always say,
Yeah.
I'll keep it moving. I want to keep moving. So I'll take this order that may not be my ideal order, but I gotta move.
You gotta. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you feel like a
Yeah.
shark, man. Like you gotta move, or you feel like you dive, you stop.
Yep.
You know, we
Yep.
said what did
Yep.
I say? Sleep is a cousin of death. Like
Sleep is a cousin of death. I
but that
mean
can,
it. I mean
yeah.
it. It is. But then I've also like when I'll be 40 in a couple of months. Okay. I think you're a couple years younger. How old are you?
I'll be 37 this year.
Okay. So I figured you were a couple years younger. He said Limp Bizkit. I know some Limp Bizkit.
I put it up there because damn, he's so what, Limp Bizkit was 1999, right?
Limp Bizkit's it's
Yeah.
Fred Durst, I think, right?
Yeah. They still make
Yeah,
fun
yeah,
of him.
yeah.
I don't know
I
why.
know the
What's
music. I know the
Yeah.
music. I never like purchased or I wouldn't go to that kind of album or that kind of concert, but I know Limp Bizkit. It's pretty good. It's cool.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, like I'll be 40 and like I was always like hustle. When somebody in the chat asked, "What was your first job, Pedro?" Well, my first job, he said, "Don't say paperboy." My first job was like I would knock on people's doors. Okay. Once I got out of Chicago, I couldn't knock on those doors. That was bad.
Yeah.
Once we moved to St. Louis, I was knocking on doors. Can I mow your grass? Can I rake your leaves? Can I shovel your snow? And then once I got to get a job, my first job was I sold shoes at a mall. And like we would get like these little bonuses for selling. And I was like, I think I was 16 or whatever, selling shoes. And then from there, I went to a restaurant. That was it. I've only had like 3 jobs my whole life. But my first job, I guess, if you want to call it, I would knock on doors and mow people's grass. So like I know that hustling thing and always having to go, that was me. But just recently in the last year, I've had to learn how to pause, step back, think bigger picture, reflect a little bit, be a little more. I was always, and for a lot of times, I was always playing checkers. And I'm just like fast playing checkers, fast. I'm going to beat everybody, fast. This year, I'm trying to figure out how do I play chess, slow it down a little bit, and like actually like play a game. It's kind of where I'm at right now because I was just playing like I want to play checkers. I want to play 20 games a day. I want to win 18 out of 20, and I feel good. Right now, I want to play one checker game, and it takes me 5 years to win one chess game. If it takes me 5 years to win, it's going to take me 5 years. I'm trying to be patient, but that's really hard for me because I'm a high energy kind of cat. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's hard, man.
I guess age kind of comes with that, right? Age
I think it does.
Experiencing like
I
what
think
you
it does.
thought was important or where you need to go, 0 to 100 with, you realize, no, that's not right now. That it, would I care about this a year from now? This situation. I think I always have that idea in my head, like, okay, this situation is going on. That's maybe something that is not ideal. Will I care about this a year from now? And a lot of the times is no, I won't. It won't be something I'll be on my mind unless it's something super important. But I always drill out of my head, like, is this important that I'm gonna have to deal with this a year from now? Is it just a minor inconvenience?
Yeah, man, that's a really good point. And I think like somebody told me it was in one of my videos they were saying that I was like the Tony Robbins and I was being ridiculous and you're too positive and look at this guy. He read a Tony Robbins. This is what he said. You go, look at this guy. He's in his 40s. He read a Tony Robbins book. He thinks he knows everything. And I took that like a compliment. Like, thank you. Like, I don't read Tony Robbins, but I guess you're saying I've learned some things and I'm trying to help other people. Thanks
Yeah.
for the compliment, you know? And
I think
I
a lot of us are
feel,
just we're too cynical. Like
yeah, I
we think
mean,
like you're trying to sell something.
and
Like,
yeah, and I'm not.
yeah.
And you know, I try to help people, but like legit, man, like Hannibal, man, I've made a lot of mistakes, man. Like, I know that's super cliche, but I've made a lot of mistakes. I've done things I'm not proud of. I've hurt people. I've been not a great guy sometimes. I've just not, you know, I've been not a great human being for a number of years of my life. And and it got to the point where, like, you know what, I can't keep doing that, you know? And I had some light bulb moments in the last year and a half, 18 months, yeah, or last year and a half. And I decided, like, I got to start working on myself. I got to get some help. I got to do this. And then I've learned a lot. And when you learn and you feel really good about yourself, I'm the kind of person, I want to share that with other people. I want to share it. I want to say, this is my experience. What are you going through? You know, like, that's just me, because I feel so good right now that I want people to know it. And that's toxic positivity. I'm fine with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm okay with that, because coming from where I've come from and some of the things I've done and had to deal with, like, I'm happy to get this next chapter of my life going, and I want people to come along for that ride. So,
Would you like to share what was one of those light bulb moments? Like, what was
sure.
this event that happened, or it's just kind of it was the pandemic? Like, what
Sure.
got you
Yeah,
to feel
I have
this
no
way?
problem sharing some of that, and I plan on sharing some of my story as the channel kind of grows, when I think times are appropriate, and as I feel like maybe it's necessary for even myself, because it's good for me to talk and stuff. Um, but yeah, I mean, I got divorced. Um, it got finalized this year, but really the divorce started, you know, 2 years ago, let's say, right? We separated and all that. I had a lot of life changes like that, right? And
Yeah,
I had to really look deep at, why did that happen, right? And I had to take some self ownership of that divorce.
yeah,
And there were kids involved in that. I had two stepkids, and I loved them dearly. And a lot of relationships were broken from that, and
yeah,
people's lives were really uprooted and affected by that. Not just mine, but other people.
yeah,
And when life events like that happen, and they happen in the middle of a pandemic, and then you have a baby, like, you know, and there's even other things, but, like, you know, that divorce was a big deal for me, you know,
right,
and how that affected that other person. I had to really look inwards and be like, and really self-evaluate, and what did I do wrong, and did I do things wrong? And you know, I'm part of this men's group, and I won't share all the details with that, but, like, I am a sponsor to somebody,
mm,
and that relationship is like, you know, me and this particular person know more about each other than any other. Like, he knows more about me and I know more about him, and the transparency and vulnerability that we have in that relationship is fantastic, and empathy that we have. And for these men I've met that dealt with these things, like, it's all that happened in a very short amount of time in my life. So I had to be like, I got to start living better and betting on myself, and just doing things better, and being more kind and being more positive, and not being such like I was before.
yeah.
But that's, you know, getting a divorce is, you know, that's not an easy thing,
No, of
especially
course
when
not.
you were the person that kind of had a lot of weight to bear for that, you know. And that was one of my light bulbs for sure, was that. And that just happened, you know, in the last year and a half. Yeah. So
Yeah, you know what? I totally understand. I feel that, for me, what got me feeling as good as I feel right now is the idea that I stopped being so selfish. Because you could talk to my wife, and she would definitely like the first one to admit that I was very selfish for a while. It was always about me, 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 making sure that I got what I needed at the expense of others. But when
mm,
I really realized, especially now when things got tough, and I focused on what I really cared about, and I feel like true happiness, and I don't know, it's a cultural thing too, especially right now. Don't have
hmm
kids, do for yourself, go travel, do this, do that, and I have friends who do that, that don't have kids around my age, and I don't feel like they're very happy people, because
mm,
they live their lives only for themselves. I
Yeah.
feel like true happiness, a true life purpose, life mission. I know we getting really getting Tony Robbins over here. We getting a little helpy,
It's all,
right?
hey,
But it's all
but
good.
this is
This
what's
is
real.
real. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is how I feel. That true happiness is the devotion of others, like taking care of my kid, not worrying of thinking about everything about my needs. It's about the needs of others. Even the people I talk to on this channel and the videos I make, where I'm bringing something out of myself to help people or inform them or entertain them. To me, that's true happiness. When I remember, growing up as a kid and as a young man, I'd rather take than give. I thought taking was just, but those feelings are fleeting. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's great to have that selfish act, and you feel like, you feel great, but you don't feel great the next day. But when you do something great for someone else, you
Yeah,
concentrate on
man.
someone else. That's when you really feel you get that satisfaction that goes beyond just like that one moment. So
100%.
I told
I
yeah,
was, and I still am in some ways a very selfish person. And back then I didn't think I was, because you do certain things and you tell yourself, well, that's good. I did that. But was it really what that person needed? Or did you
mm,
do it for your own interest?
yeah,
And I've had to really had to humble myself and realize that it's not about you, and you gotta think about the other person's perspective and what they're dealing and what do they really need. You think they need something. I think my daughter needs this, but does she really need it? Because if I'm giving her something I think she needs, but she doesn't value that, then that's me being selfish, right?
right, yeah,
And yeah, I made a lot of mistakes to have to learn that. So now when I realize it, and I've had help from other people to help me realize that, I want to share that with people and talk about it because I feel
yeah,
good about it. And
yeah,
I wish I would have gotten this kind of help and this kind of knowing myself 10, 20 years ago.
yeah. We
You
all
know?
wish that, right? Like, damn,
Yeah,
but
but
you
and
good. You know what? It happened. There's all these things happen
it
for you
happened
to
when it
be
needed
right
to.
here.
And
Yeah,
if the one thing that's really what makes my daughter Ruby being born, um, if I didn't do all these stupid, crazy, selfish things, I wouldn't have her in my life right now.
yeah,
So that's what's weird, this tragedy of these things I went through. If those things didn't happen, my whole life would be completely different, but I wouldn't have my daughter now. It's just funny how that works.
it's
But
life, man. It's
man, I
life.
mean, that's life.
That's
Yeah, you're
that's
right.
how that's how it is. Good night, Lisa. Maybe before she's about to go to bed.
We still got some people in here, man.
Yeah, we still got a good amount. Yeah, we still got some people. But yeah, man, and kind of going back with gig work. You got I know a lot of guys, a lot of people they be hustling, doing those 12-hour shifts and 16-hour shifts. Just be careful. You don't want to lose those moments. I remember you talking about a moment that you had when you was working a lot and you couldn't attend an event because
Yeah,
you was in that grind. You was in that grind mode. And I know
yeah,
the gig, and right now, especially like you said, you have to stay out a little longer to make your goal, but at the same time, don't miss those important moments, because they will be gone before you know it, and you feel
yeah.
like damn, where have I been? Well, because you was out when you may not even need to be out that long. So you
Yeah,
really
I
be
think
careful.
we have that monetary, I got to make this amount of money. And that's the thing, right? And you want to have goals, but sometimes that extra couple hours to make that extra $30, but you're going to miss something else, your kid's game, or you're going to miss this, or you're going to miss your wife. And now you got home late and now she's sleeping. You weren't able to watch a program with her or have dinner, or you're out grinding too much and it affects your health. You don't feel good. You're not getting sleep. You're not taking self-care of your health. That's not that. Is it worth that extra $30? I would challenge you to say it's never
No,
worth that. It's never
no,
worth that.
no,
And
not at all.
I get stuck in that grind of looking at that Dash app. I got to make $200, and it's addicting. It's it says 197. I've done this many. It said $197, and I will stay out to make one more order.
Yeah.
I mean, come
That's all I
on.
was telling. That's all I was asking. Like, man, these apps, they just like you're saying, they just know how to, they know how to trigger the brain to. It's like, oh, we don't. Yeah, you don't want to get that over that number. You don't want to leave with $97 today. Come on, do another order.
Yeah,
Like
they know, man.
they're
They
they're
know.
good. They're good. I mean, a lot. It's psychological. Like it's just they just know how to keep people and grab them. But then eventually, when you do it for a while, and I feel like this way too, they kind of want you to go. It's like, all right, you know too much.
Oh
You
yeah,
got
yeah.
you master the game. It's like the casino. When you go in the casino and you're just killing it, they kick you out. Like, wait, you earned
Yeah.
this much. No, you're out. You're banned.
They'll
Don't
put
come
a
back.
cooler on you. They'll switch a dealer on you. They'll
Yeah.
turn the AC up or down. They'll have the cocktail waitresses not come around anymore. I know. I work there. They'll do things to get the
Yeah.
players out of that
It's
chair.
like, get it,
100%.
this is not going to work. Or like in the movie Casino, there's a cattle prod. Just,
Yeah. I mean,
that's a little bit on the extreme side, but you know what I mean? Like, it's like, yo, this guy's because
DoorDash ain't doing that to us, but
no. It's just, they're gonna hit you with, like Uber Eats. It's like, oh, we're gonna give you 5 seconds to pick this order. You're like, I
crazy,
can't.
Man.
Like, what do you mean? And I heard. I'm not sure. I was trying to turn on the app to see if this worked, but they are no longer telling you the second order of a stacked order. So they're just popping up the first order. And you thinking, oh, 2 from this one restaurant, and then you do it, and like, oh no, you gotta go somewhere else. It's like, wait a minute.
Really?
That's what Mushimu said.
Is it on Uber Eats?
Uber Eats, yeah.
Okay.
They're hiding the second order. And I was on Reddit, so some people definitely were talking about how the timer was changed. So it's like they're not making it easy for us.
It's weird. I've noticed that sometimes it gives me more time than others. I did Uber today, and it was fantastic. I had one stack that went from it was 2. It came in $17 for 4 miles. I jumped right on it, and it wound up being $39. So nice. Uber's hiding tips. I guess they're hiding them as well. I'm gonna do a little thing on that. But the Uber is the timing's weird, man. It's strange. I don't get it. I'm not as good with Uber because I don't do that as much. I'm trying to learn it a little bit in my market.
Yeah.
But theirs is different. Yeah, it's definitely different.
Yeah. DoorDash Dad had a good point of, you're supposed to multi-app. But, people feel comfortable. Like, you're outside, all these elements all these variables you can control. And it's like, I just want, some people just like, I just want to get this one app to get where I need to go. Like, I'm comfortable with I don't want to try Instacart or other. And we got to push through that. But I totally understand when some people are saying, well, this app is what I know.
Yeah,
and some people don't like change,
It's comfortable, yeah, and it's hard sometimes to. I did DoorDash alone for the longest, and when you incorporate another thing, it can be a little stressful. And you got 2 things, and you're trying to work both, and you got a widget, or you have 2 phones like I have, and you're trying to bounce between both of them, and
you're recording yourself.
Yeah, you're recording. It could be a lot. I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna share with you a little clip of a video I have coming out at some point. For the first time ever, I was multi-apping. I had them both on.
Yeah.
I had 4 orders in my car at one time. I have never done that before. 4. I had 2 from DoorDash, 2 from Uber Eats, at the same time, Hannibal, in the back seat. But I knew exactly where they were going.
Yeah.
It actually worked. I don't recommend doing it, but today it worked.
Yeah, and I think UDM is supposed to come up with a video on how to. I've tried it, and I'll be honest. I tried really early on, like as soon as because I was always an Uber Eats guy, and then I got on DoorDash, and I immediately thought, "Oh, I could do this." Probably the first week, I got contract violation for being late because I was waiting for an order for too long.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Yeah, fuck it. I don't know," because I can't trust the restaurants to make get the food. Like if I was able to trust all these restaurants when I show up, the food is ready, no problem. I can multi-app, but it's like I can't foresee the crap that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
At the first restaurant, bam, you may get it, and the second one, oh, it'd be 5 minutes, and when they say it's gonna be 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's not 5 minutes, and you're sitting there, and you're panicking, you're like, all right, should I cancel?
Yeah.
So
it's not easy.
Someone said it's an art and a science. I'm like, yes.
What I did today, I would not recommend to anybody new. I wouldn't recommend it to most, but I knew the merchants. I took a small gamble, but I saw, okay, well both of these drop-offs are going north. Both of these orders are going north. It's only 4 miles. I got this amount allotted time. And if I didn't take, so I had to DoorDash two DoorDashes from Panera or Breadco, whatever you call it, at the same time. Both drop-offs were close. And then the Uber came in 17 for 4 miles. If I didn't take that, it wound up being $39. That helped me really make my day.
Dude, yeah,
and I took it, and it worked out. And I was in communication with the customers. I don't know how to make a video. I didn't record any of this. I have screenshots, but like it really worked. And I was like kind of like pumped. I was like, wow, like you can't do this all the time. But like having that Uber app on made me an extra $70 today in total.
Yeah.
Whereas I would have just made what I made if I just kept DoorDash like I usually do. So I got to figure out a way to how to, you know, I know UDM talked about doing it, how to get people some good tips on how to do it and do it successfully. And I think many people do it already. But like to have 4 in the back seat from 2 different, I mean, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Well, how long? I mean, right off the, just thinking about it right now.
Yeah.
How long should you be doing gig work, like in terms of these delivery apps, before you try that? You know what I mean? Like that.
Oh, you gotta
can't
have
do the first week. Can't do the first month.
Oh no,
what,
you gotta
maybe
have,
a few months in, maybe.
You gotta have thousands of deliveries, and you have to know your market very well. You gotta know your streets, your directional, time of day, traffic patterns. You need to know all that stuff.
You can't depend on Waze or Google Maps.
You have to know. I knew that when I did this, it was 1:30. Lunch rush was kind of over. Merchants should be quick. Destination's good. I'm not going to run into traffic. There's no construction. There's a lot of things going in my mind in that 5 seconds to determine to take it. And if that order would have been going,
rideshare, you're always you have the map. You can go places without even turn on your direction of the GPS or anything.
Yeah, but I got super lucky because that was going north. If that Uber Eats $17 order for 4 miles was going south, I would have had to say no because I had the other one going north. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have been able to go. I would have possibly got contract violation, but literally because like I had a directional going on in both phones, and it was like I got really lucky, but I was also able to gamble and I took the risk and it paid off. $39 order it wound up being. So
nice. Because that's the one. Good. That's the DoorDash is the one that I am most worried about being late. Uber Eats, man, I don't know. Do they care?
And that's the thing. That was also part of my decision making. Was like the Uber Eats. I don't feel like I get the pressure from them.
No.
So I'm gonna drop these DoorDash off real quick, and then I'll get the Uber Eats one, and it worked out good.
Yeah,
man.
DoorDash and Grubhub are more like, hey, you take it too long. What's going on?
Yeah,
Uber Eats is like, drop it off when you're ready. Whatever you feel like it, man. Just whatever. Yeah. We're billionaires over here. Whatever. They'll get their food. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. But also, you know, my DoorDash, when I look at my stats on DoorDash, I hold those in a higher regard than I do my Uber, like as far as like customer rating and I just look at those DoorDash and I don't care about acceptance rating, but the other ones I kind of try to make sure they're pretty good, you know?
Yeah.
But like the Uber one, I'm like, it's whatever, I don't care.
I don't even know I couldn't tell you. But that is a good beginner app for delivery. Would be Uber Eats. First, they accept anybody, except DoorDash. That for some reason he can't get on.
Well, yeah, I don't know what's up with that. Yeah.
And you haven't applied for the shopping apps. You're not much of a shopper.
No, I did apply for Grubhub about 3 weeks ago, but it said my area wasn't taking drivers, and they would update if that changed. They let me know via email, I guess. But I tried that. I've never done the other shopping ones. I do Walgreens orders. Like I don't mind shopping. Today I did a 7-item order from Walgreens. It took me maybe 15 minutes combined. I don't mind doing those, but like I got some friends that do Instacart and things like that, and they say it's pretty good. But like I actually enjoy shopping. Like grocery shopping, like when I go, I like doing it for my. So I don't want to mix the two. Like I like going to the grocery store.
You want to ruin your love of shopping?
I don't. No, listen, Hannibal. I love it. Like I like going, and I take my time. It's kind of like one of my little guilty pleasures. Like I like to grocery shop.
Yeah.
So I that's mostly the reason why I don't sign up for those apps. So
I'm a fan. I love Instacart, not as the shopping, because I'm not a shopper. I'm not. It takes too long. I don't know where things are. I'll tell you right now, personally, with me, I have a terrible sense of direction. I don't even know how I get home.
And you deliver food.
If it wasn't for GPS, I wouldn't be driving my car. I would drive, don't know where I'm going, or don't know how to get back home, leave the car there and take the train. Like trains, buses, I can figure that out. If I didn't have that GPS, it just wouldn't work. It just wouldn't work for me. But I think the future of a lot of these gig apps is the grocery shopping, though, because that's the one where you can get to make the most money.
Yeah, I think it's funny, man. When I was making that tipping video, the history of tipping, it got me thinking about other things that are kind of changed and why do we do it. And like grocery shopping is one I was thinking about because like I think you make a good point, because I think it's going to be every year we're going to see a steady growth within that market of food delivery, being groceries.
Yeah.
And those and people are just going to stop having to go grocery shopping, because think about it. Like, if you would have told me 30 years ago, 20 years ago, hey, we're going to be going to grocery stores and we're going to be doing all the work. We're going to be checking ourselves out, bagging our own groceries. I would have told you were crazy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you go to most grocery stores, at least in my market and in other ones I've been, they got the self-checkout. Those people are checking themselves out,
Yeah.
bagging their groceries, and it took people's jobs, right?
Yeah.
We don't have
CVS,
yeah.
Target, Walmart.
You go to a restaurant. I went to have lunch today. I took like a 15-minute break. Went to a place. I had been there many times. First time ever, I noticed they had a screen where I typed in my own order.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not against that, but like, we want everything so quick, and we want everything easy.
But it's expensive labor. Labor costs has to be cut for us
it
to
has
get
to
these
be.
things. Like,
Well, and you think about like the place I went today, it actually kind of made sense, because before they had somebody that would take my order, right, and get my drink from me. Now that person, that dollar amount, that labor cost goes to the kitchen, and the food comes out quicker. So instead of having a cashier to have a cook on, they got 3 cooks versus 2 cooks and 1 cashier. I am the cashier. I am the drink maker, and I get my food in 5 minutes versus 10 minutes. So, so it kind of makes sense in some ways.
Would you consider that a ghost kitchen? Oh, that's not a ghost. That's what you.
That's not a ghost kitchen, no. But like Taco Bell does at McDonald's, you walk in McDonald's, you could you can use the screen and order your own food, pay for it, and then it takes away the cashier position. And the grocery stores have been doing it for years now, and it's going to get to the point. At some point, we're going to walk into Walmart, and there's going to be 0 cashiers at a Walmart, 0. Yeah. And we will scan every item ourselves. Some grocery stores do it already. You grab a cart, it's got a payment processing thing on it. You scan stuff as you put it in your cart, and you walk out, and you never talk to an employee. That's the future, man.
But what is that? Eventually, if all
what's that do for jobs?
Yeah, like eventually, then what everyone's going to do? This is not Star Trek. There's no perfect world where you just live in some utopia situation. Like, eventually people need to work, and where those jobs are going to be. Because I was just reading
Elon Musk is taking everybody to Mars, man. So I think
we're going to have to figure out something else.
we gotta move. I mean, Jeff Bezos just paid like $1 billion to go to where the planet he went to, or whatever. Yeah. So
he thanked every Amazon employee and everyone who bought from Amazon. At least he was honest. He was like, "Oh my God, all of you for my
this guy
success."
Was selling books out of his garage, and he's a completely different human being than he was then.
Yeah, man. Everything. He's yoked up. He's like
it doesn't even make sense.
I read a biography of him, and no, he's an alien, dude. Like, super aggressive.
Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos?
Jeff Bezos. Super competitive, aggressive.
Really?
He looked up to the people. Sam Walton. That was one of his.
Okay.
idols.
Yeah.
Because think about it, he's basically did way better now at Walmart. But that aggressive take. I want you to. I want Amazon to be the one-stop shop for everything, and he figured it out.
It's crazy, and he's the richest person in the world, right? He's number 1.
I believe so. I know. At this point,
I think he's. Yeah, I saw somewhere, and I've seen things, and who knows how true it is, but I know he's like billions upon billions. Yeah. And I heard like he can literally give every person in the world $1 billion and still have billions of dollars, which is a weird thought. And money doesn't work like that. Like if you're worth 50 billion, it's like you have that in cash.
Yeah, you don't have any.
But
like, no,
it's just an odd thing to think about, to have somebody have that much money.
Yeah, I think Amazon made $1 trillion. Imagine that. It's funny how we just yell out billion as if that's like some small amount of money, but we talk about billions all the time. $1 trillion bills are being passed, and our heads are like, just $1 trillion. Like, no, that's an extraordinary amount of money.
The system is broke, man. It's broke.
Yeah, we could talk about that for
We could
3 hours.
that's the next time.
Yeah, that's next time. Yeah, if Chad was in here, he'll have his political theories. But it's a crazy, and not all this. We just trying to make some money. We're just trying to make some money and
I'm just trying to
pursue
make
other
200
goals.
bucks. I mean, I'm trying to make $200 a day. And I was talking to my brother and dad tonight. I'm trying to make, I figured out how to do that.
Yeah.
And then now I'm figuring out, okay, how do I do this food delivery? Okay. And then
Oh yeah,
also,
good transition.
yeah, how do I make money when I'm sleeping? Okay. I'm doing that a little bit with YouTube. You know, you make
Yeah,
a
yeah,
little bit of money while I'm sleeping with YouTube.
yeah,
I'm monetized, right? So
yeah,
transparency, I make a little bit of money with that.
yeah.
So I got that. The next thing is like, what's the next thing? But like, the food delivery thing, the business in St. Louis, I want to help the small guy. Since day one on my channel, my thought process was early, first quarter of next year coming up. I want to have a couple trucks, a couple cars, a couple Priuses, hopefully some dashers or not dashers, but drivers,
Employees, no dryers.
myself as well. I wouldn't even call them employees. I want to give them some kind of profit sharing, and like some people said they would invest. I don't know what that would look like yet. It's in the infancy stage. I have ideas and plans, and I've talked to people. I've talked to some businesses. My thought is if I can get 10 local spots, I need to start small. 10 local spots, and I could knock out their deliveries with efficiency and then go from there. It's going to be a challenge, but I still want to do that. I don't want to deliver food for these big companies. I want to deliver food to King and I, from King and I, VP Square, Terra Tacos, the people that I know that are trying to make an honest living in this community. And my community is a type within this area that I think they will value that. DoorDash has a bad name, man. Like people, I deliver food sometimes with the DoorDash bag and they're like, oh, I didn't know that was coming from DoorDash. And they look at me with disgust. It doesn't happen
Because
often, but
DoorDash bought all these companies out, all these
yeah,
apps
man.
out,
So like, I want to
as
be
if
able
you're
to.
still ordering from that company. No, you're not.
Yeah,
DoorDash
but
owns
you're
it.
not. It's DoorDash, and they don't know it. I want to be able to, rep my own local business, helping a local guy, and I don't need to make $1 million. I don't need to make that. I just need to make enough to do what I want to do and have some people that are driving and they're able to meet their goals. And that's still the plan. I'm going to get into vending machines, like all these little, I'm trying to do these little things that can have more revenue streams. And, we'll see. I mean, I can't do too many things at once, but I got the DoorDash gig going. Now I got the YouTube going. I'm going to continue to do that, but then now I got to figure out what's the next thing. So.
Definitely. I hope you document that and talk to us about it. When you decide
Yeah.
to put the next step in the small. I do believe locally it's where it's at. DoorDash. We always say they're growing too fast. They haven't got to. It's kind of like they're leaving the room with a mess and they are going to the next room. Leaving the mess, leaving the next room, and it's hold on, you didn't clean this mess up. And they're like, no, we got it. And just keep doing it. And we're really just not fixing the mess, and the growth is just too quickly. But if you find a solid local company, which it's funny, DoorDash started as a local company. I forgot what they were, but definitely in the West Coast.
Were they in Were they starting in San Francisco or something like all the other tech ones?
Where they were just a little small thing, but they just excelled really. Growth really fast. But if you could find a really good company that's not going to try to take 30% out of every order, or 50% or some outrageous amount of money, where DoorDash was able to hamstring a lot of these restaurants during the pandemic. It was like, well, they can't leave the house, so you better take this. We're going to take. It's like extortion, right? Again, not really, because you sign.
It's like the mob loan sharks, man.
It was like, yeah, we'll
like the loan sharks.
We want 30% of every order you get. Oh yeah, and the Dasher base wage is $3. So well, what the you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they still can't make a profit. It's like
I haven't looked into this, and I'm not a financial guru guy. I don't understand how. Well, I can understand in some ways because there's a lot of startup costs with a tech company, and they got Super Bowl ads. They're spending $10 million on a Super Bowl ad.
Their
marketing, promotions. I mean, that's how you grow a company. But like, you have to understand where I think they missed the mark is, and I know Tanner talked about this a few months ago. Like, they're trying to grow too quick and make a profit too quick, and that tells me like they're just trying to sell. It's a short-term thing or whatever, because like they're expecting too much too soon, I think.
Mhm.
And they had a rapid growth of 200% or whatever it is last year. Then they go public and they want their stock price to be $500 or whatever. Like, it's not realistic in the way that they're handling their day-to-day operations, right?
Mhm.
They want to have this great restaurant, but they hired a crappy GM. The wait staff is anybody can be a waiter here. They want this great golden goose of a restaurant, but they hire all the, they're making it too easy and too cheap. They're not valuing dashers. They're not valuing even the customer. And I think it's a recipe for disaster. I hope I'm wrong. I hope DoorDash can be longevity and people can make money and bet on themselves and have side income and do it part-time or full-time. But I don't think it's not a sustainable business model.
Is this all Uber's fault? I feel like a lot of these companies followed Uber in the way they set things up, but I don't think maybe Uber did grow fast. I'm
I don't
trying to
know.
think of
I mean,
things.
DoorDash has the most market share. They're the most relevant overall.
Yeah.
I do think Uber, the one advantage they have is they also deliver people.
Well, the
Right?
idea
So
that they just
they'll deliver anything.
deliver everything, and they hired everybody. Well, not
Yeah.
everybody, but they grabbed people that had like they didn't. I don't know what kind of background check they had. A lot of sexual harassment nonsense.
They go
happening.
cheap on the background checks. They
Yeah,
don't use the
so-
companies to really dig deep.
And also it looked like their culture, their corporate culture was a lot of problem. That's why the first CEO got pushed out. Like, so it was like a little weird, and they was like, hey, we just gotta get as
I
many
didn't know
drivers
that.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
didn't know that.
check it out. I forgot it's not the current guy. The current guy is the new guy.
Yeah, okay.
But it's the first CEO, who's a bit of a creep, and he had a really bad culture. The culture of the
okay.
corporate situation was
Yeah.
a little off, and there's
Yeah.
too many bad cases. Like the same, it's kind of funny right now with the DoorDash. Every week now, it seems like every day, a DoorDash driver is doing something crazy.
Yeah.
Not just one, and 99% of us are just working hard
Yeah.
as possible. It's always the weird one. It's like, okay, so Tanner had a video about it. Some gang member that had
Yeah,
several arrests.
he put
He's
something
DoorDashing.
in Chipotle or yeah.
How's that possible? How's he typed his name, typed his information, and he came back and was like, yeah, you can go work. You can start tomorrow.
And he had like felony charges and like all kinds of like 7 different kinds. Yeah.
And I
yeah.
understand people coming out of jail, and I talked to this with Chad, the Gay Economist, and on our channel. I know a lot of people who came out of jail and they're not getting hired.
Yeah.
You don't. Yeah, but it's like, hey, I can get on this app and I can make honest money, an honest living to get me out of that situation. So like that's the ideal.
Yeah, and people that come out should be able to get work.
Yeah.
And I think it speaks of, we talked a little bit about earlier, like the negative, whatever bleeds leads, because that one guy that does that, or the one DoorDash driver that rams his car into the customer's car because they didn't tip. That was a story that was a few months ago. We don't hear about the stories of the DoorDash driver that brought in the groceries for the elderly lady and put them in her refrigerator. I'm sure that's happened, but nobody speaks about that.
Yeah.
We don't talk about the good stuff. We only talk about the bad.
Yeah.
And I think more good happens than bad as far as drivers go. I think most of us are good drivers and we're trying to do good things, but there's always a couple knuckleheads that ruin it for everybody else.
Yeah.
And
yeah, definitely.
DoorDash, they got to do something about it though. I just think they're so aloof and like we don't. What's great about being an independent contractor is like we don't have to answer to anybody. But like, wouldn't it be nice to like knock on the door and be like, "Hey, Tony, is Tony back there? Like, can I talk to him for a minute?" I'm crazy enough. If I lived in San Francisco, okay, no, let's just say the DoorDash office was in St. Louis. I would have already been there.
You already say, I need to talk to somebody.
I would have knocked on the door and said, "Hey, I got a couple questions about base pay, transparency, and driver safety. Who will talk to me?" And I am crazy enough, I would sit in that office until somebody talked to me about it.
When's the last time he actually been interviewed? I haven't seen an interview with him in a minute.
I don't know. He's in his yacht with his wives and boyfriends and girlfriends and kids, and he's living a jolly life, and he don't care about us, man.
The funny thing is, he has worked, like he came from nothing. That's weird. I don't know if like things people change.
That's impressive.
He came from China. Like he came.
That's impressive.
His parents worked. He worked. I think he helped his mom in a restaurant. But it seems like you're getting bigger and bigger, and you're like, hey, listen, if you want to make this business that you started to, fulfill your wildest dreams, you gotta start breaking some eggs. You're gonna have to do some things that you may not think is morally right, or whatever the case may be. Because business is a cold thing, especially the bigger the business is, the colder it gets.
Absolutely.
Feelings are not there anymore. Yeah.
No, to be as big as they are, I'm not surprised. Like, come on, man. Tony's not his brain isn't thinking about his brain's thinking about lowering base pay to make more money. Yeah. And okay, if I had a business, if I had my delivery company, I want to make money. I got to figure out how to make money. I can't operate at a loss. This isn't charity. So I get that point of it.
And his responsibility of so many employees, so many people. It's like, hey, we depend on you, Tony. You got to get this to work. Yeah,
right. Exactly.
I would not want to be his position, to be honest. I would not want to be a CEO.
I am surprised in the day and age where we are right now, 2021, going into 2022, and accountability and cancel culture and all these things, right? We're learning about. I'm surprised these big companies aren't more transparent. I would think they'd want to be. I would think it would serve them well. I would think if Tony went on Good Morning America tomorrow and talked about the issues and the safety things and DoorDashers being violated at 7-Eleven, like I saw today on the news story, and Uber guys being mugged, and like all these crazy things, right? I would feel, and DoorDash, base pay being lowered while gas prices go up. The same week the gas price goes up, they lower base pay in my market. That's insanity, man. I would think if he just got on the interview and said, hey, this is why we're doing it. I'm going to be transparent with you. Look you guys in the eye through the camera lens and say, hey, this is what's going on. This is our plan. I know it feels, hang with us right now. We're trying to build something better. We're trying to think bigger picture. I know it's not easy. You know how I would feel like that would go over pretty well, right?
Yeah.
But no, saying nothing is just like, it makes you look like a jerk.
And because now he has $1 million investment groups to answer to, that he doesn't want to say anything that can, because that's a problem too with stock prices, and one bad word come out of his mouth and the stock price may drop by 5%.
Yeah.
So he has to worry about that. So he just want to, and again, it's gonna be until something terrible happens that involves a Dasher. That then you'll see him doing the press tour. He calls his a crisis PR team to craft a message. But it's so cold. It's not really based on really understanding what's going on.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what's going to happen. I mean, you're going back to the question: will things get better? I guess we'll just see. I don't know.
I mean, but I will say this: if you don't get you some DoorDash stock right now,
get DoorDash stock. Yeah, it's going to get to $500. It's going to go to $500. Like this guy. Man. You know what? If he, you could invite him. Maybe he won't show up, but we should invite him. It's like, hey, come to St. Louis.
I mean, I wanted to have him on a channel. I had, he talked to Tanner. I thought it was a good interview. I thought it was fine. But I think I don't know. I don't know why he wouldn't. He did send me an email saying, "Hey, you want to still talk? We can talk." And I responded back, "Yeah, I would love to talk on the channel, off the channel." But he hasn't gotten back to me. Sure, he's a busy man. We're all busy. Everybody's busy. I hate when people say I'm busy. I'm busy. You know what? Everybody's busy. Yeah. You make time for things that are important. So if it's not important for him to talk about fatherhood and DoorDash with you, me, UDM, and Derek, then it's not. Then I just
what? Let's do that.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what? Let's do that without him.
We can do that without him. Yeah, we can.
We can all put that together. I know Derek doing the football. I actually was in his stream a little earlier, watching the game. Preseason games is such a drag, but
I don't watch preseason anything. I'm sorry, I don't want to watch.
It's nice to see football, but damn,
I'm good.
They play one series and then all right, here's Dwayne Haskins. He's
it's
playing
not
all right.
It's not entertaining. I'll wait till that Thursday night, opening night or whatever it is. It's usually on the Thursday night. I'll wait to watch my Bears lose to somebody and I'll be fine.
You don't dash on Sundays, right? Because it's
When
season during the
football
football
season
season?
comes, I probably won't. But I do sometimes. Sunday I try to take off, but like with football, I do fantasy football, so like I'm into that. And then with the baby, I'll probably make that a day where I stay home and watch football and just hang out with her.
Yeah. Kind of Sundays are usually for me a good day. There's not much traffic and people are ordering in. But it's like, damn, I'd rather just be home with my family on the Sunday. But the
Yeah.
money is there too. So it's like,
See, in my market on some of the Sundays I would work, it doesn't seem better. So that
yeah.
kind of maybe I didn't do it enough, but like I was like, you know what, I could probably make $100, but it might be like all day. Like I'll just take the day off, and
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
make
yeah.
up the money somewhere else. I'd rather be off on Sunday anyway. Like
The market just runs the show. Just
it
runs the
does.
show.
That's
Yeah.
very, very true. Very true.
2 hours, Pedro.
Listen, dude, it's probably time. But you called in the beginning. You said I think we can probably.
We can talk all the time, man. We can talk. I can still keep talking, but I know it's late. I know
I mean,
it's late.
you've had over 50 people in here consistently. I think
That's
says
why
that's a
I
pretty
was
good
like, all right.
podcast.
I thought if it dropped to like if it dropped, I'm like, all right, maybe. But
It's not dropping.
It's not
Give
dropping.
the people what they want, Hannibal.
And people are still coming. I really appreciate it. This is better than I knew it was going to be. If no one was here, me and you were going to have a great conversation.
Absolutely.
That's the thing with what anything is going on. If we do this conference and it's only 20 people and there's 20 people that I like to hang with, that's a victory. So
that means me and you are just going to drink more beers and get to know
we're
each other
going to
more.
chill, talk.
That's all. Yeah.
Talk stuff. So it's amazing. Appreciate everyone that's staying as long as they have. Especially William has been dashing and probably listening to us since we started. So he's
William Anderson is a beast.
Yeah.
I think he's been working like 12-hour days for the last whatever, and like props to William Anderson.
Props. I hope he gets a big fat like tip, like some unicorn drops like a good bag on him. Appreciate his support. Next week I actually send a DM to Eli.
Oh yeah.
And he's gonna talk to me next
Eli
Thursday.
Esch?
Yeah, Eli Esch.
Oh, that's a
and
fine
he's
young
doing
man. That's
something
awesome.
he's doing another business, doing a side business, cleaning windows and doing some kind of. So he's dashing and he's doing that. So I want to talk to him about that because
Awesome.
these young kids out here, man. Like I wish I had the drive that Nugs and Blake and Eli have, where they're just
amazing.
Their entrepreneur like switch just came on. Well, I'm like 36 and I'm just now getting it. And he's doing something with some friends, doing those drone shots, them cleaning windows, and he actually have a paying client actually. So I want to talk to him about that, just because it's not all just about these apps. Like, let's expand our I guess perspective on how can we make money, like lawn care, I walk dogs, I take care of dogs. Like, there's so many other ways to make money. It's not just, don't get stuck in this one thing. And Gig Life, I know you just came in. I want to talk to you too. I think I emailed you. I don't know if you got it, but I want to talk to Gig Life because he made some really good videos.
Absolutely.
The last two have been fire, like really cutting into what we all thinking about. And again, we try. It's inspiring. Also, kicking in the butt. Like, we can figure this out if you put the effort in. Like I made that Rover video and like 2 people saw it. Cool. Rover's not for y'all, but
I think you saw it and I saw it.
I appreciate. I've so busy with these dogs. I'm not bragging. I'm making as much money as I've ever made.
That's awesome, man.
Taking care, but I don't know. Maybe not. Dogs may not be for you.
Well, they might not be for everybody. Yeah, but it takes patience with dogs. I got 2 dogs. I know, man.
Yeah, so it's like patience. I want to talk to people who have different. And Tan, I want to talk to you as well. And I want some sneakers, so I might order some sneakers. But yeah, I'm gonna try.
Hey Tanner, what I need you to do is send my boy Hannibal some sneakers.
I'll buy the sneakers.
Send him some sneakers. It's a nice gesture. You could do it, man. Come on. come on, Tanner.
But definitely, Pedro, thank you, man.
Peace, brother. Hey, man, I love you. I appreciate you having me on here, man. Like, I love this community. We'll do this again, man. Anytime you need something, you know where I'm at, my friend.
Definitely. And until then, I was gonna say we'll talk later, but you know what? It's late. Just go to bed. I'll text you later. And thank you guys, and we'll see you guys next time, man. Good night.
See ya.